Hello chat, how we doing today? Championship Sunday, let's go. We've had some madness the past few days in EU RLCS, so I don't know what to expect today. I am truly just like, I'm here for whatever happens, and we're just gonna leave it at that, all right? But how is everybody doing this morning? Or I suppose if you are in Europe this evening, any Australians turning in or tuning in, I suppose is the correct word. How was your Monday morning instead of Sunday? I think that covers everybody though. So Kinja, hello, hi, how you doing? Also, just a quick recap, we got Marim with first this time and Luca was second. So, you know, classic counting. You guys can still count. Yippee. All right, we got a lot to get through here before we start the games today though, because we got to recap what happened yesterday. I don't even have any words to describe it. I guess it was just absolute insanity. So that's what I put in the title today. I don't know how we went from one of the best championship Sundays I've seen in the first event to just absolute, like, Vitality blew up, and there was a super messy quarterfinal match between Sa and Magnifico that looked like, mechanics aside, it looked like champ gameplay, if I'm being honest. So yeah, we're gonna recap a couple of what happened yesterday and, you know, give ourselves some context. But for anybody who might have missed it, they announced what the season rewards are going to be for the season that ends in, I think it's on March 5th, right? So it's not too far away from now. But yeah, it's a decal. It's a decal, and it is synced to whatever music you have playing in game, which I never play any music in game. I have my own music. I'm not going to listen to music in Rocket League. But yeah, I'm supposing if you have an anthem, it would adjust to that as well. Maybe they'll just have a random pulsing if you don't have any music enabled. I don't know. We'll see. But I think it looks all right. It looks pretty decent to me. I rock it. You know, I'm liking the silver, gold, and then the GC and Grand Champ and Supersonic Legend like usual. Those are usually the decals that I like, but I'm just happy that it's a decal, because if it's something else, like maybe it looks good, but I almost never use it. I think the only other thing that I've really used that is not a decal reward is a trail, and that's it, because I would use, I'm going to be real honest right here. I would use the boost. There are multiple boosts that have looked great. They just sound terrible. Like, they completely fumble it on the sound. I wish they wouldn't be so obnoxious with it, and that's the only reason I haven't used those. So, and I'm assuming a lot of people don't use them for the same reason. But yeah, the decals themselves, they're fine for me. You know, I'll probably rock this occasionally between all the other decals that I have, but I do want to get GC so that I can get that decal. Do you know what Infinite Craft is? I do not, Marcy, but welcome to the stream. How you doing today? Okay, so getting into what happened yesterday, we have our first highlight here. That is actually a low light. Vitality yesterday looking like a top 4 team in Europe, and they got 4-0'd by Carmine Corps with a kickoff like that. So Vitality are just looking a little rough. I think that's kind of generous to call it simply rough. But yeah, just miscommunications on Vitality's side. If I had to guess, I would say that it's mostly around Alpha and Radosin not connecting, not happening to communicate with each other or to rotate with each other. But yeah, that's my guess. A lot of people said, you know, Zen wasn't playing up to his usual standard, and that's what was wrong, but I disagree. But anyways, fun fact with that series, it is the first time that Zen has never scored in a series. he has scored at least 1 goal in every other series in his RLCS career, and yesterday that was ended. So quite a crazy day yesterday for Vitality, but we also had some other stuff to go through. So Oxygen versus Redemption was another grand final that we had, and Redemption, Zen may have scored no goals for the first time in his series, but Redemption only got 1 goal as a team throughout the entire series against Oxygen, who also 4-0'd their opponent. And yeah, EXO getting a little bit saucy on his interviews. So let's listen in here.
Ages and further on.
If I'm being honest, I really don't care what people think. I mean, I've been told I'm not good enough for main event, I've been told I'm not good enough for major, and here I am. So I really don't care what anyone says, including the casters. So keep hating on us, keep doubting us. I'm being honest, I really don't care. If I lost this series, you guys would call us bad, so I really don't care what you guys say. You guys are very inconsistent with your opinions. I don't really think you back it with knowledge either, so.
Well, I feel attacked, and I'm going to make sure that everyone on the desk also feels attacked. Thank you very much, EXO, for having the chat. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you later.
And as I predicted, when he did this interview yesterday, I predicted that most people on Twitter would probably say, yeah, go off, EXO, that was great. Me personally, I think he has a right to make a comment, but it was when he said you guys don't back any of your predictions with knowledge. That's where I was like, okay, that's a little disrespectful. Like you're teetering from just defending yourself and your team to being a little bit disrespectful about it. I don't think there's any other way for me to describe that, but you know, most of the part, this was brought on by the casters on the desk saying that they don't believe in Oxygen, like they didn't even make it a Swiss last event, and then saying, well, at least they made top 8 this time. So I guess EXO took that to heart and decided to fire back during his interview. Again, I don't think that's unwarranted. I think it's all right to defend yourself. You got to be confident in yourself and your team in this game. Otherwise, you're not going to perform to the top of your ability. But yeah, it was, everybody else online was like, oh, whoa, you know, EXO really defended himself, because usually the players are top PR approach there. Otherwise they get in trouble with their org. But yeah, me personally, I think just the little addition at the end right here where he talks about,
I really don't care. If I lost this series, you guys would call us bad, so I really don't care.
Like, that's fine.
You guys are very inconsistent with your opinions. I don't really think you back it with knowledge either, so.
That little addition. You guys are very inconsistent with your opinions. That's all right. I don't think you back with knowledge. Too far from me. So that was EXO on his interview yesterday. He was getting a little saucy with it. And let's move on into the final series, which was BDS versus M8. Gentlemates Alpine, sorry. I always get confused when it's M8. I think of M80 in North America. But we had a little bit of an own goal here by Juicy as he pops it into his own net. Hi, old gamer. How you doing today? We're just watching a couple tidbits from yesterday, getting everybody caught up. In case you didn't tune into the stream, tune into Rocket League, the EU RLCS competition. But yeah, Juicy, unfortunately, just the name, that the word of the day for yesterday in Europe was messy. Like, no matter what team it was, whether it was Gentlemates or, you know, Magnifico, Redemption, like the gameplay was just messy. Also toss Vitality in there because that's the big one that everybody's concerning themselves with. But we also had some great plays here. So let's take a moment to highlight Growly with his wonderful shot as he pins it off the corner and then gets the Psycho, the redirect right on the net, and Juicy chiming in with another own goal, but technically I think that was going to go in anyways. So great shot from Drowley. He's peaking in RLCS currently, and it is fun to see. So yeah, unfortunately, Juicy put that in once again, but I think that one was a little bit more of a force, in my opinion. So now that we've covered what happened yesterday, what are we watching today? What are we getting up to? what are we going to tune into on the mainstream? Well, we've got a couple semifinals and then a grand final. And this looks a lot lower quality just off of a first glance in comparison to the last event. How about K-Corp destroying? Proof that the coach really matters? I agree. I think Farah is upping his stocks wildly with every single event, and especially when it's them dominating Vitality specifically. Just showing the difference in leadership there. Like, I really don't want to rag on Fairy Peak because I don't think it's his fault. It just shows how valuable Farah was. This is the first season that Fairy is coaching a pro team, and you know, I wish him all the luck in the world. I hope Vitality have a regain. I really hoped that after their close loss last event that they would come back in their former glory, but yeah, they just fell apart yesterday in the quarterfinal versus Carmine Corps. It was painful to watch, I'll be honest. I said it live and I stand by that after a full night's sleep. Like, that was like watching a puppy get kicked. Like, I didn't like it. It was like, all the credit to Carmine Corps. They did fantastically. They looked great. But yeah, that I did not enjoy watching Vitality fall apart. It was painful. It was painful. But we also had the previous match of Sa versus Magnifico, which, like I said earlier this stream already, besides, if you remove the mechanics, that was like watching a champ best of 7. Like, and you can't convince me otherwise. That was so much lower quality than multiple other matchups that I can't even believe it. Like, you know, the saving grace for Oxygen versus Redemption, like, Ixo went off and he was all, you know, big ego, we're the way better team than Redemption. But for all of that, I mean, look at these score lines. 2-1, 1-0, 1-0, 2-0. Like, you'd expect if they think they're such a better team than Redemption, that they would have crushed them in more than like a 2 or 1 goal difference. And yeah, that was, I don't know. So yeah, a lot of people touting Ixo for his interview yesterday, saying that, oh yeah, you know, go off, defend yourself, which, I mean, there's a place for that. And I'm not going to exhaust this too much more because I've talked about it a lot already. But yeah, I think Oxygen still have a little bit more to give, and I want to see it before I consistently vote for them. Plain and simple, they have not earned my votes. I will sometimes give them the vote if they, you know, I'll predict them if I think that the other team that they're going up against is truly like a base level lower than them. But yeah, Oxygen haven't earned, like in this matchup right here, Oxygen versus BDS, I'm going BDS. I don't think Oxygen have looked powerful enough against teams that are supposed to be there lower that I'm gonna give a nod to them, you know? So that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, Vitality got wrecked. They got wrecked. Look at this. You had a 7-2 and a 6-3 in the series. It was painful. Yeah, it wasn't just because it was KC, by the way. Like KC, yes, they were absolutely popping off, but like thinking back to the games themselves, Vitality just didn't look like they were clicking. So yeah, they're usually pretty high floor, just dropped out from under them. It makes it more interesting though. If Vitality wins everything, it gets boring. I agree with that. Also, hello Sheb. I know I already responded to one of your messages, but hi, good morning. How you doing? Have I been posting shorts? Not recently, Luca, no. I'm still working on that. Like, I'll be honest, streaming 6 days a week is really taking it out of me, along with just like my other things that I balance in my life, like working, because it's technically what it is I'm working 6 days a week. You know, just because I'm sitting in a chair doesn't mean it's any less difficult than a regular job. But yeah, I'm still getting used to it, so I haven't gotten into the routine of editing yet. My goodness. Yeah, it was, I mean, it's worth watching back to see just what happened. Also, like, if you want to see what I mean by the difference in level, like, I'm not trying to be savage by saying that Sa versus Magnifico was a mess of a series. I truly, like, you can see the difference. You can see the difference in how the players touch the ball, what kind of utility that they extend further through the play, and it's just, yeah, it's leagues different, like, watching this series versus watching Carmine Core play. Like, you could tell that this is 9th through 16th, and this is best. This is the best team in the region so far. So I remember when Johnny Boy said that everyone has caught up with Vitality skill-wise on a pro level. Yeah, other teams have really stepped it up. I mean, Gentlemates looked great in the first event. They're stumbling too, along with Vitality. I don't know. I think they have the potential. From what we saw last event, I still believe in them. Like, if they can return to that form, but it's kind of like, you know, if I were to explain it, basically like Gentlemates going up against Oxygen. Oxygen haven't quite got to that level where, you know, I will give them my vote every time in a matchup. And Gentlemates were at that level, and now they've fallen a little bit back down. Like, I'm kind of weary with both of them. Like, Oxygen doesn't take the cake just because they have gone further in this series. If it was Oxygen versus Gentlemates right now, I would have a hard time picking who I think is going to win that, because Gentlemates have the potential, we've seen it before, and Oxygen are getting there, just not quite to what I want to see, you know? Good morning, Paper, you're the best. People don't realize how hard it is to talk constantly while streaming. It really takes a toll, not to mention the behind the scenes work. Yeah, I don't know. I could also, you know, get more sleep consistently. That would help me out. If I was getting at least 8 hours of sleep every single night, rather than letting like a couple nights where I get 6 hours creep in there, I think I'd be on a lot better footing. But yeah, it's just I'm getting used to it still. I'm getting used to it. But yeah, that's what we're going to be watching today. Carmine Core versus Magnifico is up first. Hold on, let me pull this to my other screen just so I don't miss anything. Making sure that things don't start before we are ready for it. Sleep? What is the strange thing you speak of? One of the core pillars of good health. That's what I'm speaking of. Yeah, anybody who is struggling with their health, I think there's like four things that you need to get in order before you even think about paying attention to anything else. It's consistent nutrition, hydration, sleep, and then, oh shoot, what was the other one? There's one more and I can't remember. Motion. So like exercise. If you have covered all those things and you're like, okay, I'm doing good on those, and you're still having problems with your health, then I would look outside of it. But yeah, those four are what you need to lock down, in my opinion, if you want to take care of yourself. We appreciate your dedication and efforts. Of course. You know, it doesn't hurt that I like doing this. It's great to be able to watch RLCS and say, yeah, I put in a good day of work. But yeah, so Carmine versus Magnifico first. I think Carmine Core have this. Maybe Magnifico take a game, but I could easily see this being a 4-0. If not, I think 4-1. So I'll give Magnifico a little bit of credit, but yeah, this game 7 victory does not, it's not quality. It's not quality. If you watched it yesterday, you would probably agree with me. So Magnifico, I'm giving them one game out of respect for being in the top 8 and the top 4. But yeah, I think Carmine got this in the bag. If something happens where Carmine loses this, I don't even know what to think anymore. Like, Europe is just, it's something that it's a puzzle I'll never figure out. But yeah, and then the second semifinal that we have is BDS versus Oxygen. Like I've been explaining earlier, Oxygen still have a little ways to go to earn my vote on a prediction in this series, but I still think they're good. I think they can really take it to BDS, so I'm gonna say this is 4-3. It's close. It's close. But yeah, I still favor BDS. I think they've looked stronger, especially in the matches yesterday. If Redemption was so much like lower quality of a team versus Oxygen, then it shouldn't have been 1 and 2 goal games. Like, let's just be real. If they were truly that dominant, Oxygen should have taken leads a lot further than that. Whereas BDS, you could see that they did that. They 6-0'd Gentlemates, and then 5-0'd them in this other series. So I just think this was a much more quality win, and yeah, I'm gonna go BDS here. So that is the semifinal that we are going to be starting with in, let's see, they got 7 minutes on the clock. Okay, so something else that we need to take a look at are the rankings. So the entire thing that we're working up towards here with watching each of these events is which top 4 teams are going to make it to the major in Copenhagen at the end of March. And whenever you want to look at the rankings, you can just go to Wikipedia. Here, I'll put the bracket, link that for anybody who wants to look at themselves for this event. Pin it in the chat. There we go. I've done my duty. Good streamer. But yeah, if you just are at the top of that page and you click at rankings, you can look at rankings for any of the regions. Hello, mister. How you doing today? We're taking a look at the rankings right now. And the big thing to note, the result from yesterday that makes the most impact is that Vitality lost their quarterfinal. So they are now tied with Magnifico because Magnifico secured the victory against Sa. So that is going to be... that's going to be huge for Magnifico specifically, because that means all they have to do is outpace Vitality, and they can maintain that number 4 spot to qualify for the majors. So it's going to be really huge for them. They have their own fate entirely in their control outside of any other team's performance, as they are currently in 4th. They just need to outperform Vitality by 1 round, and they will have gotten it. In the absence of that, say Oxygen get to the grand finals today, that's when Magnifico have to start worrying, because they'll suddenly bounce up over the top, kick Magnifico out, and they'll have to work even harder to get there. But as it stands, if you expect BDS to take down Oxygen, then, you know, Magnifico fans rejoice, and they're safe here. All these other teams, Endpoint, Belagol, Fast Forward, Redemption, Team 3, and Sa, possibly even Moist, but it would take kind of a miracle at this point for them to get into the top 4. Yeah, they kind of have to win. They kind of have to win the next event to have their fate under their own control. Of course, other teams might drop out early. We saw Moist go out before top 16 because both Moist and Resolve dropped the games that they weren't supposed to in the double alien bracket, and that means they ran into each other. But yeah, I'd say safely you can count on the race being between these bottom 4 teams right here: Gentlemates, Magnifico, Vitality, and Oxygen. And, you know, the race is really amongst each other. Carmine Corps, if they do as expected and, you know, win against Magnifico today and then take the grand final, they will secure their spot in Copenhagen. So they have to get a win to absolutely confirm it. But yes, if they win today, they're going as much as G2 is going. G2 had the back-to-back wins in their region. That means they qualify no matter what. Their seeding could change. So if Carmine Corps wins this today and then they bomb out and don't even make top 16 tomorrow, they could lose their seed, you know, and go down to the 4th seed instead of the number 1 seed, but they will still go to Copenhagen no matter what. So those are the big things that we're going to be watching out for here. Carmine Corps possibly getting the back-to-back win, and BDS giving themselves a even firmer lead in terms of the number 2 seed. Sorry, my voice is a little bit rough from talking so much, so if my voice cracks, feel free to make fun of me. Oh, we got another peak cam placement from Stizzy here, so let's go ahead and tune into the main stream, see what they're saying now that we've covered all the different information that is pertinent. Which is my favorite? Carmine Corps. I think Carmine Corps are solid, and even though they dropped a series in the double limb bracket, like the next day in the matchups against Gelmates and Vitality, even though they went to 5, like Carmine Corps looked solid. And they're a team that I can, based on their performance through last event and this event, I just think they're a team that I can trust for the most part. It's not that they'll consistently peak, but their floor is high enough that I'm like, okay, yeah, I can reasonably say Carmine Corps should win this. And I like teams like that. I like teams that I can count on, even if they're not like very top level. For example, BDS. BDS is also starting to get pretty consistent. Like, they win against the teams that they're supposed to win against is what I'm looking for. And I like that because I think it makes a better recipe for top quality Rocket League versus like a team that might peak one day and then absolutely bomb out the next, which is what Vitality's starting to become. Magnifico being in the top 4 unexpected, for real. But like, I voted for Sa yesterday, but Sa, I had a real problem with Mike Boy playing out of defense. Like, he was really starting to bother me because it looked like even when he had boost, the only thing that he would do was boom the ball. And he would boom the ball. There was one play specifically where he boomed the ball. He was coming out of the corner. He just picked up his 100 boost. And he had a great position off the wall. All 3 Magnifico players were waiting in their blue half. All 3 of them, they were in plain sight for Mike Boy, no matter what camera angle he had on. And he just boomed it right to a player. Instead of making any other play on the ball, he just absolutely yeeted it. And there was no reason for him to do that. So like, specifically, I hate to tear on one player, but yeah, that started to bother me, and Sa did not deserve the win yesterday. So if Sa were playing like they had been in the double limb and the Swiss stage, I think they would have been a better matchup against Carmine Corps today. But yeah, they weren't playing well, so Magnifico earned it. I always root for the best team. It feels good to see them crush everyone else. You think Carmine Corps is the best team? I think they're the best team, but they're definitely teams that can challenge them.
But the fact of the matter is,
like, they just it's the consistency. It's the consistency that's the difference, because other teams can peak as much as Carmine Corps can peak. There's obviously a skill difference with Vatira, Rise, and the Tau. They're just like, they're all really solid players. They're the best, probably the best player if you put them on other teams. They are the star player, but yeah, that doesn't mean that other teams can't compete with them when they're at their peak. It's just they're not consistent enough to challenge Carmine Corps as a whole across multiple events. Like, if you just put Carmine Corps versus like probably any other top 16 team in Europe, they could win. They could win a series, but Carmine Corps win the series, 9 times out of 10, whereas the other teams win them, 1 out of 10 times. So
since the start of spring last season for an RLCS. That is 6 events, 1 in a row.
I love this player cam from Stizzy. Being able to actually watch his gameplay is a lot of fun.
I'm pretty sure it's 24, going all the way back to when Moist started, or his team Queso actually back then started to make a splash. That he has not missed the Championship Sunday.
Vatira is just waking up.
Player.
He's not ready for the games yet today.
Not just getting top 4, he's getting top 1, so it would seem.
Yeah, it's just madness, the consistency from a player like this, and that's why it's so hard for, I think, anyone to go against this squad.
All right, who you guys got? Is anybody gonna say Magnifico?
And I have a feeling that
the controller on the desk seems so strange to me. I wish I could play with my controller on my desk. I started to do that at one point. Also, I'm gonna drop KC in chat. I'm gonna participate in the vote.
Sure, they drop down in qualifiers to the lower bracket, but they still make it through.
But yeah,
they're still in top.
you
4
like BDS
CJ,
the most?
and you cannot
What
bet
do you
against
like
them.
about them?
I think that if they need any more motivation as well, they win this. It's simple.
And
They keep the major,
Vitality's
so it's
old
not
coach
just to win
coaching
and then try
KC.
and win
That's a
another
testament to his
regional,
coaching
but
style. He
you
is
try and take it
successful.
all. And either off to
Like a Doc
Copenhagen,
Rivers, Bobby
perhaps 4 games
Bowden,
away,
or
so you have to go
Bill
Caden. Not too
Belichick.
good.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Haven't
Shogun,
seen
is
this
that
yet in
this team
RLCS.
also knows that
I
they
don't
can
recognize
lock in
any of those
Copenhagen
names.
with
I mean,
the
I feel like I've
after
heard Bill Belichick.
focus
When you look towards,
That sounds familiar, but I don't watch traditional sports, and I'm assuming that's like a basketball, football, or, you know, other sport reference.
Motivated by domination, by just taking over a region for the longest time. Rare to find
Who are each of
in
those
a lot of
coaches?
sports, and
Educate me,
that
Sheb.
is not a
Football?
surprising number.
Okay,
Very,
football.
very blue screen right now, I feel like that's
Football
all
like
going to
American
see.
football or
That's why
football
I think I won
soccer?
this today. No, that was
I'm
actually
assuming
an accident. I don't
American.
think that much, but I'm not surprised you guys went with 85%.
Like when I say I truly do not watch any other sports besides Rocket League, I mean it. Esports or traditional sports.
Magnifico has an absolute mountain to climb. We'll see if they can make their way into
Does
the
that
grand
make you guys
final,
think
but the
less of me?
blue
That I don't know who
will
those
be
guys
standing
are?
steady in their way.
Like I said, I don't know Doc or Bobby, but Bill, that name sounds familiar. Couldn't tell you from where, but I feel like I've heard it before.
Unbreakable here in Europe. I'm Stumpy, joined by
I'm assuming that's as crazy as like somebody watching Rocket League and saying, "Yeah, I don't know who Shogun is, or I don't know who Zen is." Oh.
We analyzed all the kickoffs on the pre-show.
Oh, very nice from Atomic there. That's a good play.
In 2 seconds, Magnifico, what a perfect lead.
I'm 50 years old and I only watch Rocket League and COD. Yeah, I want to get into Apex. I'm just usually when Apex pops up that an event is happening, I'm already really tired from watching Rocket League all day, so I don't want to watch even more of something.
Who knows? We'll analyze that one later, but it does just
Because I took like a 30-day break from watching any video that wasn't work, education, or socially related, like watching a movie with family. And it just like now I have a very like a different fatigue level for watching videos. I can't binge videos all day long, whether it's a TV show or a movie, without starting to feel just like gross. You know? Gamer is right, they're really successful coaches. They were able to get the most out of their players. Yeah, we had Rise came on for an interview for something. I can't remember if it was on RLCS after they, nice play! Oh, I love it when teams do this. When they make one touch and then they go ahead and bump. Oh man, it's so beautiful. It's savage as all get out, but it's beautiful. But yeah, Rise did an interview. I can't remember if it was on Shotcast or on RLCS itself after they won a series, but he made a comment about Farah being the best coach that he's ever had, and I think that means even more coming from Rise, because he's been on the most teams and probably has had, you know, the most coaches of a lot of pro players. Like, because some players really stick with the same coach for quite a while. There was, I think it was recently, it was in somebody's interview, but they said they've been with the same coach for 3 years, and I was like, yeah, if you find the coach that works for you, that's good, because like some coaches, you don't fit. Like some players and some coaches, they have fundamental like competitive differences or styles. And I ran into that in running. I had multiple cross-country coaches all 4 years of high school. I think there were like four coaches on staff every single year. And they were the same 4 coaches for those 4 years, but you know, there was one that I vibed with more than the others, and it was a stylistic difference. It didn't mean that they were any less knowledgeable, or you know, that they couldn't be effective with other athletes. Wow, what a dunk. But yeah, they just didn't resonate with me. Hi Walter, how you doing? How are you guys? I guess I shouldn't speak for other people, but I'm doing pretty well today. I'm ready to see some good RLCS play. I have faith. After the mess that we watched yesterday, maybe we'll get some good games.
Because what a side that Atomic and Tox, that they've always been part of.
I'm doing
Atomic
good. I'm
got
just
into
tired from
maybe
yesterday.
previously, not
Yeah,
before
I
we
made it a
wanted,
point to
especially
get
on
a good
certain
amount of sleep tonight.
Utopia-based
Wow,
stuff.
what a save.
When we see
Props to Atomic to getting back in time for that.
Along with G1 historically. But they are a team that will be able to make lands frequently if everything does end up going their way. But a strong top 4 in Europe is going to be what stands between
Yeah,
them
so the
and
whole
that
desk
success.
voted KC. Well, does anybody remember what the chat percentage was? Predicting, I'm assuming KC. Nice.
I've got to say, when they get going, they make things look simple.
I had 2 soccer games yesterday for my tournament, and I have 2 games again today. Ooh, that's a lot of soccer. That's a lot of running, like, right in a row. My goodness. Is it for like a final tournament for the season sort of thing?
3-1 now to the good for Carmine Corp, looking a bit more
Or if
comfortable.
it's it should be spring soccer then, right? So maybe not.
Just to have a little bit of the heebie-jeebies after a goal goes against you 2 seconds in. What we are seeing now is Magnifico.
It was 85% to KC. Oh wow, yeah, so dominant. I mean, I expected that. I didn't look at it.
Going to the far corner. Now Rise should be able to get this one by himself.
Oh.
Tox is going up for it, but Tira is already there. He's already proving how dangerous he can be, even if he's not having the loudest series mechanically. All it takes is one
Best player
demo,
cam.
one block, and Vatira is gonna
Undisputed.
be there. It is good demos,
Stizzy's
that
got
might
the
be
best
something
player
you have to
cam.
rely on.
Yeah, we've seen how aggressive
They're looking pretty
the
good.
teams outside of our theoretical top 4 do end up.
I mean,
being
KC
against
still
the top 4
obviously
teams.
have an edge in terms of like how they're
It's a way
playing
that
with
you
each
can
other,
really
but
show off how
Magnifico don't look
you
too bad.
can't be that confident if you are coming in as a top seed. It will be scary. Vatira is scary.
We got championship finals today in hockey. Ooh. You guys have a good chance. Also, welcome, Real Blob. How you doing? No, it's actually before my season started. First game today will determine if we make the finals. I'm just nervous. Ah. Hi, I'm here, Paper. Welcome in, son. How's your weekend been?
It's all good, man.
Nice pop.
I'll get it. He wasn't needed in the end, but he was there. They just spread around the pitch so incredibly well. The Carmine Corp.
Oh no! Oh, that should have been a goal. Unfortunate. If either of them left it for the other person, I think they might have scored it, but they got caught up on each other. Unfortunate. Very good, to be honest. Very good. Wow. Oh! What a lead. Oh my gosh. Yay. See you later.
The final 20 seconds is going to tick down as a bit of a formality. Carmine Corp.
Is by chance your name Timothy or Tristan?
In the end, dominating fashion.
You play for the Giants in the US. The Giants.
It's what probably most of us believed would happen, but it's one thing to think it's going to,
Oh.
on paper say it will. Another thing to see it
Okay.
here on the flesh. Always beautiful watching Carmine Corp play.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about traditional sports really. So I'm a bad person to talk to about that. Oh, are they gonna get one? They're trying. Okay, Vatira's just gonna put it down. Wait, the NHL, that's the National Hockey League. Yes. is that the top league?
Atomic and Stizzy, and they weren't able to settle on who should be taking it. Carmine Corp, they take that full advantage, go down the other end, see the Magnifico are a little bit shaken by it, and can then
It's
get
in
that
the
nice
AHL.
tap in.
So is that
Carmine
amateur
Corp,
hockey
4-1,
league?
Game number 1. And after their 4-0 of Vitality yesterday,
I
not just
feel
that,
so
an embarrassing,
exposed for
of Vitality.
the
current
non-educated
reigning world
sports
champions,
person that I am.
It was a big moment,
AHL.
I think, in
American
Europe
Hockey
when
League,
you see
gotcha.
Carmine Corp with this brand new squad.
American Hockey
take
League. Is
that
that the level below the NHL? Like when people say, I've read a couple books where they fiction. I've read a couple fiction books where they talked about they had hockey players in them, and I'm assuming is the AHL like where farm teams go? Maybe. No worries, Paper. I thought you were a professional. Nah, bro, but soon probably. I'm 17. I play in the J20. Absolutely, that means absolutely nothing to me. But that sounds awesome.
Let's make sure, yeah,
It sounds like if it's something that you're playing in a league that seems professional and you could be a pro soon, that you obviously really enjoy hockey, which is great. Anybody who has a hobby or a pursuit that they are talented and or very practiced at, I appreciate that sort of dedication. I think it's cool. Yeah, AHL is the American highest hockey league. Yeah, so like the league before you go pro, basically.
Last season to get one of their online regional victories, and
they lost
on the bottom as well, right?
I mean, they're under a lot of pressure, but Magnifico still looks solid. This is better from them. They look better than yesterday. They had that little like trip up where they could have had an open net and brought the game within one, but other than that, I think they've looked solid. Mostly Stizzy. Stizzy has been impressing this regional. Oh. Good try, good try. Bro, I don't have any friends to play Rocket League online. I want to get GC back. Can't you do it on your own? I also want to get GC back. I want the decal. Okay. Oh, Stizzy about to work. Why did you think you knew who Real Blob is, Walters?
Really capitalized on that one goal they got literally 2 seconds in. Magnifico. But you have to do a lot more when you're making sure that you are going to be the strongest team coming into this game.
Solid, little awkward.
And taking any advantage that you can get. And bear in mind too that there's only 4 teams right now in the world that are
interesting. Oh, Stizzy Cook. Man, he just lost all pace on that.
And it's Carmine Corp.
Not a bad selection of teams based on the regions that they're in and how dominant these teams have been.
I don't know about that play.
Carmine Corp can put themselves in fine company with.
It's a good try.
So far, yet to break the deadlock here in game 2. Rise is going to try and change that now.
See, Carmine Corp were under pressure for that entire time, but it just didn't seem especially threatening, in my opinion. You know, like they looked relatively comfortable in defense. Whereas like sometimes Magnifico start to look a little bit tied up.
And the plan just seems to remain the same.
Halfway through the game.
At least you were GC. That's a great achievement. Yeah, because I had 2 friends who made the finals, both named Timothy and Tristan. Ah, technically, yeah, my dad won gold for Canada 2003. So you've got like a legacy in hockey in the family. That's sick. I don't have parents like that where they were like top performers in some sort of sport. When you grow up in that environment, do you get pressured to join those sports, or is it more like you're inspired by your parents to do those sports? Or is it a combination of both? I suppose it could just not be one or the other. It could be a combo. But like it's so often, you know, depicted in movies or like books that, you know, parents like that get intense, like because they can no longer play at that level themselves, they kind of want their kids to carry that on and live vicariously through them. But I don't know if that's actually like the case, right? I don't trust solo queue. I'm better than 99% of my teammates genuinely every match. I have more points than my teammates. Still, if you're good enough to be GC, you should be able to win no matter who your teammates are. There's ways that you can play. Wow, what a 50. There's ways that you can play so that you can win that match no matter what. Jeez, Atau did that in another series, or was it somebody else? Somebody on the blue half did that in another game, and it looked.
Just easily gets that dunk through, and
it's like undeniable. You think those 50-50s would mean that they can stop it, but no chance. I get inspired by my dad. He played for Rangers in the NHL for 7 years and WHL. What's WHL? For the rest of his career before he went on NHL, he's the best coach. But I end up going for boost and leaving my goal for 2 seconds, and then the ball is in the net. I mean, are you getting small pads or are you going for the corner boost? Because if you're taking yourself completely out of the play play for the corner boost versus like going for small pads and just happening to get outplayed in that specific situation. Like, again, those are two very different things. And you can practice your defense so that it's like very unlikely that you would get outplayed by whatever it is if you just stuck around, stayed relevant, and went for small pads, you know.
With low boost and Vatira, he stays in net. The bump attempt was not able to come through, and Atomic getting blocked out. And
Nice.
once again,
Good try. What a shot, yeah. At 1 second, it's on their half. Then I don't use ball cam, then it's in our net. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not specifically trying to give you a hard time, Walters. I don't think that there is... I don't know. You can get unlucky and lose the game, but there is always at least one mistake that you could fix during the match. To win. A mistake that you make. Maybe it's not during that play specifically and it is your teammate that makes that mistake, but maybe like earlier in the game there was a possession that you guys could have capitalized on and you didn't quite play it right. So like, I don't know. I just don't like to give anybody else the power by saying, yeah, I can't do anything. It's all my teammates that are causing me to lose, because then that, I don't know, that's just entirely hopeless. And if you focus on it saying, yeah, what did I do wrong? Then you have the power to change your fate and maybe get to GC anyways, you know? I don't know, I just don't have trust for my teammates. As you shouldn't. But there's ways that you can play if you don't trust your teammates that will more likely guarantee you the win than, you know, you have to adjust to what teammates you have. You have to see how they're playing in the match, pick up on their playstyle, on their habits, where they challenge, if they hang back, or if they try to double commit with you, which means they want to be on the ball whenever they can, and you can adjust and still come away with a victory. It might be a closer victory, just a 1-goal game, but you could still win. Are Magnifico going to take a game? They look good enough today that I do think they could take a game.
Stizzy takes the easy shot. Takes something.
But if they don't win here, yeah, looking scary. Looking scary. Okay, I thought he was going to get bumped. If they don't take the win here, I give their chances of taking a game cut by like half.
Atto misses that chance, faking out potentially for Rise. Now Atomic at the back has to get a block, and look at the pressure that we're seeing.
Ooh, good stop from Atomic. Nice of him to predict that.
And our Carmine Corp find themselves low, as do Magnifico. It's a low boost derby.
They're still going. Oh, what a 50 from Tox.
Tox on the goal line is the man to save Magnifico's skin.
That would have been a goal for sure.
It's not just about keeping Carmine Corp out for as long as you can. To get down the other end, Tox, he is leading the charge right now for Magnifico, but Vatira does get a clean win.
Flexibility? Yeah, adaptability.
His teammates grab some boost, get themselves back in the attack. Stizzy.
Because if you can't adjust to your teammates, you're not paying attention to your opponents either. So like, maybe you get GC that one time, but you're not going to get much further than that, because as you get up into GC, your opponents are actually paying attention to what you do and adjusting to your gameplay. And you should be able to see what your teammates are doing and, you know, adapt to that. Basically not playing on autopilot. Oh. Okay, that was pretty close. That was threatening.
Shot after shot now coming in favor of Magnifico. 50 out wide, and that is
nice.
Into
oh, Stizzy got the bump there.
Shot in total for Magnifico. On the other side of Carmine Corp, it's 16. It's so many goals considering, so many shots considering the number of goals that we've had.
Yeah, just an onslaught.
Holy cow.
To be fair, from both teams, they're taking their turns.
Wow, that weight on the flip from a Atto is nuts.
The alarm bells will ring every time he has the ball. His Rise though, Stizzy and Atomic in goal. Atomic
it's so tricky
Stizzy can finish it.
Oh wait, he keeps getting that 50.
Magnifico, that defending has impressed me so much.
Yeah, great defending there too. I think earlier we might have seen Stizzy leave the backboard instead this time.
Ooh, ooh, yeah, leave it.
Shies away from it. Atomic gives him the better call.
We used a lot of his boost. Tox is key on defense right now. He's just getting in the way of those tiny opportunities that might be a little bit more scary for Magnifico. Uh-oh. No!
Unfortunately, it comes off the nose of Stizzy, but if he wasn't going to tap it in, Vatira was
Man.
Yeah, you might as well get a touch. Hope you can somehow
That's tough, that's tough. Hey, good try. They kept him very low scoring. Like already, Magnifico looked like stronger opponents than Vitality did yesterday. Like that shows how much Vitality had an off day and how the lower teams, like, I don't know anybody that would necessarily rank Magnifico higher than 8th in Europe. And they're pretty solid right now. A lesson I needed to learn, adaptability. Thank you, Paper. A lot of time I play on autopilot. Yeah, well, every time that I say this stuff, it's not like I'm excluded from it. It's almost that I say it specifically because I need to learn it.
Taking it off to 2, you have a little bit more time, you have a buffer game in
Dang.
case it doesn't quite go well, and you see there.
Dang, that was really close.
Own goal, lol.
Timeout, that was necessary.
Vatira was there regardless. Stizzy has to do whatever he can, otherwise.
Let's go for shots I know will land. How boring. I think playing Rocket League requires creativity.
Carmine Corp getting a fantastic win.
Yeah, and not everything needs to be a shot, you know? Like, I think one of the differences between GC and up and you know, GC and below in terms of how the ranks play is that whenever there is any opportunity slightly to make a shot on net, champs will take that, whereas the GCs will continue to just try to maintain the pressure. It doesn't necessarily need to be a shot, and that's something that's really crucial to learn in 1v1 that I'm struggling with a lot, is that just because there is a shot that is available doesn't mean I need to take it. Like if I have brought the ball down the pitch, I have possession, and my opponent is waiting in net, I could try to go for a peak shot and try to like flick it top corner or power shot it, dribble it top corner, hook it, all that stuff. But an equally powerful play is for me to pop it above the net and try to force boost out of my opponent so that, you know, maybe 20 seconds further from that point I will get a lot more easier, a lot more secure attempt on net, you know? Both are valid, but one requires a clear difference in skill versus the other one. I'm currently champ 1 in 1v1, and I would say all the way down to plat, popping it to the back wall does not require that much skill. I think plats could manage that. But it would take somebody who is champ 1 to flick it precisely into a top corner or to hook shot it or, you know, any of those other numbers of things to make it more precise. So it's just like small differences like that where like you don't need to take every opportunity that's presented to you, and you can wait for a higher percentage you know, chance at success for that play. It doesn't mean that, you know, either one wasn't an opportunity. It just means that you're stacking the deck in your favor and, you know, still maintaining possession throughout that. You're playing chess out here, Paper. How strategic? I've consumed a lot of 1v1. I'm just really trying to apply what I have learned, because I don't think you can say you've truly learned something unless you apply it. You may have gained knowledge, but that doesn't mean you've learned.
Atto miss as well on that side one. We saw Atto talking quite an amount in the timeout too, so maybe he's just, you know, trying to get himself back into this game potentially, but a double-double for Vatira leaves Atto.
I still think Magnifico looked pretty strong. Carmine Corp have the advantage still in terms of how they're moving as a team. I don't think Magnifico looked bad. They don't look like they're getting any more desperate to win a game. You know, they're keeping their cool so far.
to chase himself
and still
back.
playing as
Generally solid play here from
a
Magnifico,
team
but the question is, can
together.
they take a lead? Maybe not with Atira taking touches like that. You have to stay alert against Carmine Corp. Just
Oh.
when you think you have the attack, the pressure, they put it against you in one split second.
How many Magnifico players are gonna go for that ball but not touch it? That's rough. Wait! Oh no!
Great bump too on the back of it. It was Atto who managed to get it.
Oh jeez. Yeah, see that play right there, them getting scored on here was not because of the last 5 seconds. It was because of the 15 seconds leading up to it. Where like multiple of the players missed good defensive touches out when they had possession, and Carmine Corp was still gaining a foothold in front of their net.
He gets a couple and then charges the ball down to spray it out wide, where Stizzy, unfortunately for Carmine Corp, is the only player remaining. There's a bump there on. Oh, I thought Atto was going to get demoed. It might not matter too much though, because Atomic has a clean
Nice
shot.
demo.
Another demo coming in. Magnifico certainly up.
It's gonna be tough, but if Magnifico keep getting a decent amount of demos on Carmine Corp, I think that's the best way to break them apart. It's risky because it pulls them out of a rotation, so they'll concede some pressure and put some more risk on themselves defensively. But I do think that's their highest chance at success, is just getting rid of the Carmine Corp players, because so far in this series Carmine Corp have looked solid defensively, even on low boost. Ooh, wait, is that all the way in? No, Cece's got it. Oh, has anybody watched the live action Avatar show? If so, what are your thoughts? Oh, a whiff begets a whiff.
Final 2 minutes now with that Carmine Corp lead. Very much gonna be bearing on
yes,
Magnifico's
demo him.
line.
Good. Demo. Nice. Oh, wow. The toe's just too strong, man.
Atto capitalizes.
Oh, Tox missed his touch.
One attempt too many. One moment.
That's unfortunate. They had a really good chance if Tox got his touch there.
Against them, when you're thinking, how have we only scored 2 goals so far this series? When we've had so many chances, we have had opportunities, we have had the play, we've had them pen back, we've had them boost starved, and still Carmine Corp just refused to be beaten.
Yeah, I think that's why they need to get demos. They're pushing so hard that now they're starting to make mistakes. Now Magnifico are getting desperate. Oh no! What a save! Okay, good Stizzy. Good Stizzy. Don't fall apart. Come on, guys. Keep looking solid.
But I would have loved to have seen Tox shoot that, despite the fact they've been going for those alley-oops, and they have been doing really well for them historically.
Yikes.
I think now they are just maybe a bit too readable off the goal line.
Yikes.
Tox again.
Yikes. Yeah. Yeah, okay, at the beginning of the game they didn't look very desperate, but now they are starting to, after they got those double demos and didn't score. Now Magnifico are falling apart.
And then the finish is imperious, Stumpy.
Sends 2 players to it as well. On the goal line, they have to jump, they have to respect the initial shot.
It's tough.
My friends, is how
It's
you do
tough.
a
I think
little
this
bit
is
of
why
alley-oop
Carmine
play.
is the best team right now.
Secure the goal at the end. Final minute.
Because even if you think about them reverse sweeping BDS last events, like Carmine Corp were on the ropes. They've got the clutch factor. They've got the clutch factor, and even if they're down, they don't allow themselves to look like they're out. They keep pushing in a composed manner, because that's what's lacking from Magnifico. They have lost their composure. Now they're just, the desperation's creeping in. They're biting at any touch that they can get, any 50-50. And you know, it's the precision is lacking for them to be able to move like that. Better. That was a more utilitarian touch out of Stizzy.
But Rise again, that Hydra of Carmine Corp in a blue tracksuit is not going to stop defending their Dragon's Horde.
And it is looking increasingly like Magnifico are going to go into open.
All right, Stumpy. that's one way to describe Rise.
Extremely impressive for an unsigned team, by the way. At any orgs watching right now, please pick these guys up.
Oh, Magnifico isn't an org. Got it.
You can't against Carmine Corp.
I didn't know that.
Coming Court wanting then to go through as one of those undefeated teams.
There are a lot of top 8 teams that could be signed, but I don't think any orgs will be hesitant to sign any teams with how the qualifier format is right now, in my opinion.
Our statistician, I think Falcons might
because they could get a top 8 placement and then, or even a top 4 placement, which I think kind of like proves that you are a decently consistent team and go out before top 16 in the next event, as Shopify did, which is rough.
Stumpy has never had an original thought ever. It's all just the words of Direct.
It's very true. I love beanies.
That was a good shot from a Tau.
Anyway, 3-0 up.
He loves beanies.
No, I get it. I'm gonna ask you a question.
I'm assuming that player cam replay was when 2 players got demoed and a Tau scored anyways.
Carmine Corp, bear in mind, last open qualifier, they got a reverse sweep versus BDS in the semi-finals. They know what it's like to be on that 3-0 down and then to come through and win. Magnifico,
does Rise still have braces?
At the start, and they have put in a shit.
Because Rise and DeJoyo have braces. Rise and Vatira had braces when they were on Queso Moist at one point. Is Rise still wearing his braces though? Ooh. Okay, that's good. That's what Magnifico need. They need that momentum, that little victory. They could easily concede this, but that was a good victory for them. And it involved multiple players, so it wasn't just one player popping off.
This time they've learned, they've become acclimatized to the speed that Carmine Corp play.
The chemistry. It's showing through a little bit.
As well, actually, Rise, he takes the touch, but he's under a little bit of pressure with that one.
I wonder how power rankings are going to move after this weekend. Oh!
Yeah,
okay.
Will get a team extremely fast. Dizzy finds Atomic, gets the
oh, Atomic. He's nice. Way to play together. That was awesome. He totally, I assumed that Atomic was going to catch this and then flick it, but to go for the bump is just such a higher percentage play. Kind of like how I was talking about popping the ball over the top of the net when the defender's in there. Like, yeah, Atomic could have gotten a good enough flick to get the goal, but it was more, there was a more chance of success with the bump, and that's the kind of level-headed decision that we need.
2-0 down within 30 seconds. How do they respond?
Nice.
Magnifico running rings around them right now. Keep on pushing is the only thing that we can request.
Good cut from a Tau.
It's going to be out of boost. Atto is not the same.
Oh, fudge. Everybody saying his name differently really messes with my brain. Like it's Atto, Atau, Atto.
Sent long from Stizzy, then returned to Stizzy. From Atto, Rise sends it high, top down midfield, Atomic can't shoot that as she takes it low.
I can't. What a 50! Nice! Let's go. Hey, I still think Carmine Corp are gonna win, but this is nice to see out of Magnifico. It's also good practice for Carmine Corp. Both are good.
Completely muscles Vatira out the way.
Oh man, the kickoff strats. Hey Sarah, how's it going? Ato. Ato.
And it's worked. I love it.
It's a fiasco for Magnifico, the fact that they've just scored being the point. That was brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it as an American. I'm confused either way.
I don't.
Welcome to the chat, Erica. How you doing this morning? This is early for you. You got something going on, or you just woke up early? Usually we don't see you for another like 3 hours. What a save! Nicely done, Stizzy. Ooh, good. Atomic has looked really good in this game. Stizzy was looking like the most solid player in the previous games, but now Atomic is looking like he's on. Oh! Just woke. It's too early for these games, is it, Jose? I don't know. I've already been awake for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, so.
opted to pass when everyone else was
It could be too early, but it's all about planning.
Exact same choice there. Tox was on the same
But welcome to
wavelength,
chat,
and
guys.
once again,
How are the
Magnifico have a
moderators
3-goal
today?
lead.
We see
You guys having a good
pass Central
Sunday?
time and time again, and that kickoff, by the way, Rise is there to
That-
take the shot.
oh.
Tox
Oh,
shuts him
wow,
down.
the
It
follow-up.
still goes in
I was
favour
like,
of
oh, that's
Carmine
not that
Corp.
threatening with
Few
just
more
a toe
seconds
on the
burned
ball.
off the clock, but
And then
that
Vatira
slowed
came
down for a minute. Atto
zooming
fakes
in
out Stizzy, takes that low 50,
like a
doesn't
heat-seeking
waste
missile.
to jump to the last second. Knows Vatira is going to be on his left, who can then take the shot on the open net after that 50 has concluded.
I've just been
Carmine
out
Corp shut their gap down to
outside,
just
Sarah?
2 goals.
You mean
But this has
outside?
been so many kickoff strats.
Man, they are really like they're really running these.
Trying to figure out which 500 IQ to play next. Causing perpetual motion in the background
Yippee.
behind Carmine Corp right now. They can look nice and calm, but they're steam
Yippee,
being
they're
generated by
sleepy.
their French boss.
Oh,
Halfway through the game, and
Hey,
this has
we've
been
had better
Magnifico's
gameplay
to
so
win.
far.
If they don't get this one, they are gonna
it
be
may
out of the
be a
competition. As they
3-0
go,
for
they
Carmine
withdraw on
Corp,
points
but
vitality. Doesn't matter.
Magnifico have kept it close. They look a lot better than they did yesterday.
Open up that fourth
So
spot
I'm happy about
tremendously.
that.
Atomic wanted Tox to be in a
They
little
do
bit
have a lead.
sooner there,
Oh
but
no.
Atto saw what was
Oh,
coming.
this.
Now
Okay,
Tox
that
has
was
some
that was a
defending.
throw
He is relieved.
from
Well, I was
Atto.
gonna say he's relieved that Atto's put that
That
one across.
is less of a
Atto
throw
on the
now
second
that he
round, as
has
always seems
demoed
to
and
do.
recovered.
Waits around that ball, then pops it up. He's got in from his team arriving. Vatira, he goes to the ceiling. Won't be able to do anything with this second touch, but Rise.
They're probably a bit nervous still. No, they've gotten a little bit too desperate sometimes. Magnifico.
Slight wave of attack there from Carmine Corp when it looked
But they had a
like
good
something
start
was
to this
cooking.
game, which was
Tell
the
you what,
momentum that they
going into
needed,
reverse air
being
dribble
down
is something that
3-0.
I didn't know I needed to see in pro play.
Alright, let's see.
You've got to do it again for
Yeah,
me,
he's gonna
kid.
go
That
for the
was
bump.
wonderful. And
It's
Rise
just
gets
rough.
on the
Like,
end
how do you
of a
defend that?
wonderful pass to Vatira to
But they're
Rise, the
so
old
selfless.
duo back
Vatira's
at it.
like, yeah, I could score that, but I don't need to. I have Rise following up on my touches, so
Even harder.
there's a sense of selflessness and trust in each other that Carmine Corp have, where it makes one player is threatening on their own, but in absence of that, they have the team plays, you know, and they even prefer the team plays most time because it's a higher chance of success.
Yeah, every touch now that Magnifico are able to get is going to be
I don't care if you don't compete in this region. I think it'd be really good for other teams to see how Carmine Corp are playing. Another one that's like that is Falcons. Falcons are playing like that.
Quite get the slight touch that he wanted. Nor could Rise divert
Who
that
are on
one
these teams? So
goalwards.
my monitor too far to see properly. Carmine Corp is Atao, Rise, Vatira, and Magnifico is Atomic, Stizzy, and Tox.
Rise gets the flip reset, and Atomic sends it wide.
Atomic didn't just
Yeah, Magnifico and Suz quarterfinal yesterday did not look very high quality, but Magnifico looked completely different today. They look solid. Instead of Carmine Corp forcing them to be even more messy and concede in excess compared to how they played against Sa, Magnifico have cleaned it up.
It does make Atto have to think for
It's time off the
what's
clock.
going to be happening next, and it's
They
more
still got
off the
time.
clock.
I mean,
More
but
good
Carmine
stuff
Corp
from
could come back with 0 seconds. They have done that multiple times before. Nice. That's the confidence. That's the confidence we need. Give us a game.
Magnifico show
Stizzy
their
pre-jumped that too.
mettle.
That was
When
solid.
you're so many goals up and Carmine Corp just keep coming back, it gets terrifying. But 2 goals to the good. If they
Now
just
what
survive
kickoff
the
strat is it gonna be this time?
Vatira might be able to win it, but with that touch there from Stizzy,
Oh,
Magnifico make themselves
interesting.
huge favourites. Tox can't quite finish it though.
That was an interesting commit from Tox, but they got away with it. Nice. Now I'm just gonna say something crazy, guys. Something absolutely crazy. Magnifico have secured a game where Vitality could not.
As soon as this ball hits the floor,
Isn't that nuts?
Will be alive and well. Rise can't
It's
do
like
anything
everybody
more
just
with
drank their
it. And there
chaos
you
juice
see,
yesterday, and now they're back on the regular like G
I still love
Fuel,
this camera. It's
Red
so cool
Bull,
watching it.
water.
It reminds me of going around.
Like, they're back-
different
they're back
events
on
when you can
the-
sort of see players working in free play over their shoulders. And
They're back
just
on their
so
regular,
good. Obviously, of course,
regularly
they are.
programmed
But anyway,
behavior.
I just get distracted
Where
by that
yesterday
camera.
they're just like, oh yeah, We love chaos.
It was a wonderful performance too. Like the fact that we
You gotta show that we're
Carmine
still
Corp
EU.
throw everything. Rise 6 shots, and also weirdly, sorry, I've been looking at the score and everything. Carmine Corp finished that game within 7 points of each other. All 3 of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's very sweet.
That's extra weird because
Very sweet that they would score just as much as, you know, each other on the team.
Yeah, exactly. They must have been doing all sorts of aerial dribbles for 2 points at a time.
That's nice.
Really banking those. There you go. You can see it there. But a reminder as well that Magnifico did take Carmine Corp to 5 games.
13 points. Magnifico are within as well. They're within 13 points of each other. That was such a tight game for both of the teams. Every single person contributing almost identically, and Magnifico were the ones to come out on top. 3-1 in the series.
Dang.
Do you think Carmine Corp are worried about this reverse sweep happening? Or do
Well,
they just
good
see
for
it
them.
as
I don't know about a reverse sweep,
shake-up?
but I do back Magnifico to maybe take, like, depending on how they start this game, if Carmine Corp score early, they'll probably take the win, but Magnifico looked like they could take one more.
One game loss away.
I wouldn't believe it's too crazy. Oh, follow up, nice, let's go. Vitality wash, Vitality in the bin for sure.
In game number 4, they had a goal in about 4 seconds.
Wash implies some sort of permanence to it, which I hesitate to say at this point, but Vitality on the major, they could still come back. I think it's been a lot tougher on the top teams this double elim bracket, not only because ooh, good save. Not only because like just the pressure of having to play against teams where it's like, yeah, you're clearly the favorite, right? You're the pro team, but like, you know, the top teams are used to a break, and I think that is the fatigue of having to play the qualifiers every single weekend for the teams that were like maybe 9th and lower does make a big difference, and it made it harder for them to beat the top 8. It's the haircut curse. Did you watch Gibbs' video on it? I didn't. I don't follow Gibbs yet. I guess I should probably subscribe to him though and check out one of his videos. See if I vibe with what he discusses.
No need just yet. I guess they're saving them. Oh, lovely.
I've got a lot of sources that I follow already, trying to get like a good rounded picture of what happens each weekend, outside of my own opinion, because I think it's important to absorb other people's viewpoints, whether you agree with them or not, just so that you are as educated as you possibly can be. Because there's stuff that maybe they're paying attention to that I don't have the knowledge to focus on.
And they haven't always paid off for Carmine Corp.
So I'll do that. I'll do that right now. I'll pull it up and subscribe to him.
Just a box of tricks right now. As I said before, even more so than on his liquid days.
Okay,
The
Gibbs.
improvement that we're seeing from him on this roster, really stepping up.
Gibbs, there he
Carmine
is.
Corp banner.
Subscribe.
He's been with Carmine Corp for such a long time now. Done it all with them. Gets over the top of a couple of them. Tops up to make the save in the top corner. Carmine Corp starting to get the initiative here against Stumpy.
Definitely Carmine Corp putting on that pressure. Rise back to
Here we go, here we go. Tune him back in. What was the shot?
It doesn't matter too much, because then you will
Good pass. Unfortunate miss. Atomic should have hit that. Let's be honest. They're starting to fall apart again.
Business as usual for the blue wall.
Yo, welcome in, Modern. How's it going today?
You know, it's a risky play. One big clearance and the ball goes over.
You mentioned how other world champs have gotten a haircut after the win and they disappear after.
Put themselves one goal ahead, but Atomic
Yeah, I don't agree with Zed's haircut. I don't think it looks great, but you know, to each their own. There are certain hairstyles that dudes seem to think are fantastic. Mullets come to mind that I think are absolutely disgusting. It almost looks like he has a bowl cut, but he has layers on the bowl cut, because you know, he has like that fringe that you can see that's longer, and then like one that's clearly like this much shorter on his forehead. How does he go from curly to straight? Asking for a friend? I don't know. I asked that when I first saw him on the player cam this season too. I was like, his hair was so curly. Did he? I was wondering if possibly he got a perm and the perm wore it off, so like his hair is naturally more straight, but he had it permed last season as his hairstyle. Because that's something that a lot of people used to do in like the 80s. I hate mullets with a burning passion. I don't understand how they ever looked good. Most other haircuts I can kind of see, but yeah, the mullets, no excuse for it. No excuse for mullets. And it was painful, especially because my first last fall, it was my first season coaching high school cross country, and there were like a handful of the boys that decided to get mullets. I think it started as a joke, and then they actually kept them because they're like, no, I like them. And I was like, I can't. It's so bad. That was a great pass. As I agree to disagree, it's your head. You can do what you want, but as a woman, if a dude has a mullet, he will have to not have a mullet if something is gonna happen. I will not accept it. There are some haircuts or like styles that I can accept. A mullet is not one of them.
If they can hold their nerve here, completely upset, keep on
red flag, to be honest.
Can they get them when it matters most? Atomic will lose out on this ball to Atto. Vatira's coming in. Stizzy
wow. Hey, I'm sure you have lines that you would draw if in terms of like interest in potential partners as well. And that's my line. I don't draw that many, but when I draw them, I'm steadfast in that. I wonder if he mentioned it to anyone that he was gonna get it, and if he did, whoever agreed with him should be banned. So yeah, but see, like his haircut, I don't like it, but I can understand that maybe that is something. Wow, that was a tight angle. Like that one I can see. It's like, okay, maybe it's just a personal preference thing. So I don't think Zen's haircut is crazy. I personally don't like it.
And may well have cut the dreams of Magnifico in half as well. The kickoff, as we said earlier, Cole, we're analyzing them.
KC gonna be world champs this year? I can see it. I mean, Spaceman posted that way early. He said Rise and Vatira world champs 2024, and he posted it like what, after the first event of the season, or I think he posted it after they won the first open qualifier.
Is going to frustrate Magnifico at this point, but that is a great dive in.
Yeah, they've got good pressure here. They could still do it. He's wasting all the time. Oh no, he needed to get that bump. Wait, Atomic. No, Stizzy missed. No. Okay, but like they played really well. It's crazy to say that Magnifico played leagues better than Vitality did against Carbon Core yesterday. I don't think Carbon Core looked any less strong than they did, like any less on form than they were yesterday. Magnifico just played cleaner.
And as well as that, they are the first EU team to book their place to Copenhagen. So if you will be
there we go. Okay, so they don't even need to win. I said at the beginning of the stream, I thought maybe Carbon Core needed to win the event to secure Copenhagen, but it looks like they just needed to get into the finals because of how the other teams have moved around. So that's crazy.
Previously,
good for them though. Good for them. They've clearly earned it.
One of these semi-finals, the best forms we have ever seen from him. And what a future himself and Magnifico have together as a team.
Yeah, any orgs watching right now, Magnifico are a team.
That was a good performance. I think Magnifico should be proud of that. There were halves, there were certain parts of some of the games where they fell apart a little bit, but I'm proud of how they brought it back together. Because they were under a lot of pressure from Carmine Core a significant part of that time, and they still made it a good fight. Like, they had great team plays. Insane, was that an Android phone he had? I don't know. I don't pay attention to what phones they have. I do pay attention that they pick up their phones though. I'm old-fashioned. I think maybe they should like celebrate the win with each other more before they pick up their phones and immediately tweet out, but I guess maybe that just makes me a bad influencer. That my first instinct should be to to tweet out to you guys rather than celebrating with in-person human beings. But like if you take that same sort of behavior and you say, for example, what if I go to a major and you guys want to come up and meet me? Like, you know, wouldn't you prefer if I wasn't on my phone that entire time? I kind of agree. Yeah, it's a difference in generation thing, I think. I was also raised to, you know, respect a human being's presence. But maybe it's just a different environment. BDS better win? I hope so, mister. But yeah, that's what we're looking at here. Next quarterfinal, starting soon, is BDS versus Oxygen. And Oxygen, EXO, was a little bit feisty yesterday on his interview, which I suppose maybe he earned in a way. But yeah, I don't know. He said that everybody... Basically, he didn't say this word for word, but the gist was that people underrate them and he doesn't care what anybody else says. I think it's still fair that people underrate them because they did look bad in the past events, and it's just been in this event, specifically during the Swiss stage, that they started to pick it up. So, you know, if they win here, big respect on Oxygen. They will have changed my mind, but I'm still favoring BDS here. I think it might be a game 7. But yeah, I finally got into Diamond and 2s last night. I'm still bad, but progressing. That's awesome, little gamer. Congrats. Diamond is a fun rank. That's where you start to get people who are taking the game more seriously and who, not consistently, but they do know more so what they're doing. Sunday going great so far. Made curry chicken with rice earlier. That sounds fire. And about to make chocolate balls. I don't know if there's a better word for it. Are you talking about truffles? Where it's like the soft flavored center and then like a chocolate hard coat on the outside? That'd be truffles if so. I made truffles for the first time for Christmas. One, it's really hard to dip chocolate cleanly. I learned that for sure. How they get them to be perfect little balls is crazy to me. It must just be a mold instead of a freehand dip. But yeah, I had so much fun. It's one of my favorite candies to get are truffles, especially during the holidays. And yeah, I'm gonna do that again. It took a while. It takes a long time, but it doesn't take a lot of effort to make truffles. Because you have to like make the filling and then put it in the fridge, chill it so that it solidifies, and then coat it in the chocolate and then put it in the fridge to solidify. It's just a lot of work. Okay. But as I said on stream, that is Carmine Corps confirming, because they will move at a minimum to 12 points. So they go up to, what, 12 points, 9, yeah, 3 more points. So they'll go up to 28, which makes it so that no matter how bad they do next event, if they get eliminated to top 16, they are ahead enough in points that they will be able to hang on to the 4th seed. So big congrats to Carmine Corps. Claps all around for them. They did well. They've been consistent. They earned it. And it is looking like we have the clear top team in each region, which is Carmine Corps for EU and G2 for NA, where some of the other regions are still kind of figuring that out. You know, I'd say maybe the next closest to that is Falcons in MENA, but Rule 1 have been challenging that more consistently than other teams in NA and EU have been. So I'd say, you know, probably those 3 are looking like the clear top for their region, with the favor to Carmine and G2. Does this weekend change your guys' opinions with Vitality and Gentlemates falling out earlier than they did last event? Does it change your guys' opinions on what you think maybe like a global power ranking is? Because a lot of people, even if they disagreed with the placement, they basically had like Carmine Corps, the top 4 of Europe, Carmine Corps, BDS, Gentlemates, Vitality, and then G2 and maybe like one team from another region, maybe like Gen G from NA, or if you were including other regions, Falcons, Furia, like in those top 5 to 6 slots. Do Vitality and Gentlemates drop out of that for you guys? You still keep them in there after this event? Because I don't know if I'd keep them in there, but I think they're still close up there. Like I said, Vitality a little less so. They kind of look like they're falling apart, but Gentlemates, even when they didn't perform well in Swiss and in the single elim bracket yesterday, they still have those flashes of, you know, what we saw in the first event, and I have faith that they can get up there. Like, their floor still looks a little bit higher than Vitality's right now. No, it's a different thing. Cocoa, butter, oats, sugar, and coffee blended and chilled, then make them balls coated in shredded coconut. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, chocolate balls. That's probably a good a good descriptor. But it looks like the broadcast just got back. I have to go to the bathroom, but I will leave you guys entertained listening to the main broadcast, and I will be right back.
They tried to stop the sweep, but the K-Corp show, it just keeps on going on. The train is continuing. Regional 1 was beautiful. Regional 2, they found another grand final, and I'm joined by none other
That was an awkward sign-off. Otherwise, I think that interview was pretty solid, but man, CJ fumbled right there on the end. He threatened me in Norwegian?
We've not lain slain by that interview this time here, Cole, where we made it clear.
Alright.
I mean, it's the fact that we've got a very happy Rise at the moment. I mean, the fact that he is preempting, saying there is no more changing. He has found
There we go.
where he belongs. And
That should be good.
I'm really happy for him as well, because it, like, you know, we sort of take the mick a little bit, saying, like, oh, he keeps changing.
Let's
teams.
just clear that out of the chat then.
You know, it's a lot of upheaval. The fact that he
JK,
has found
hey,
the
I
place
can't
where
read
he
it,
feels
so I'm gonna
comfortable
time it
is
out anyways. Get it out of there.
Pleased for the scene as well to see him and Vatira taking it back together.
But also, what credit to him?
That's why whether you were kidding or not, like I can't read it, so
Teams in a row.
Yeah.
He's made majors with. He's got to grand finals in 2 of them as well. So huge plaudits going out towards Rise.
just a general rule, if you put another language in chat, I'm gonna have to clear it because I can't read it. So
impressed. What a brilliant team.
whether you're saying you are a beautiful human being and you are the best individual that I have ever come across, or whether you are threatening each other, I would know. So we just got to stick with the rule that there can't be any of it.
We did see 2 new teams, Oxygen
Absolutely zero.
Semifinals, but at the same time,
What we think of the interview? I think Rise has gotten very very well spoken on his interviews. He's not rising to any of the bait to take down, like rip on anybody. He's kind of just keeping very, I'm happy with my team, and he's gonna keep it there.
And then a bottom. Right now in Europe, we have the strongest top 4. However, that doesn't mean you're guaranteed into the actual top 4 of the events. Obviously, we had the top 4 play each other in the quarterfinals, so they didn't make it through. But yeah, I think Oxygen, especially the series coming up,
even if they hadn't played each other, there were some teams that weren't looking better, and it was Vitality and Gentlemates. They weren't looking as solid in the Swiss either.
Absolutely not the weakest in the top 4 though.
He was just joking with me, but I know the rules. I only timed him out for 1 minute just to get rid of the messages. So he's still able to speak.
Making a statement that there's a gap. We're cruising.
Like, I'm sure that you guys always say pretty nice things to each other, but like I said, I can't read it, so.
This is a big proving point for Oxygen. We saw before, Cole, they've made it very clear that they don't care about any of these lists. They are here to just win, but BDS is not going to make that journey easy.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you guys got in this one? Do you have BDS or Oxygen? Because did Mr. come in earlier? I think Mr. came in earlier and said he wants BDS, or maybe it was somebody else. I know Luca always pops in and saying he says he wants BDS.
You know, around that sort of top
yeah, I'm gonna go with BDS. I think they have the favorite in this matchup.
He sort of had his glow up at the start of last season, and since then he's been there, Stumpy. It's been impressive.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Trying
definitely.
to go back and see if I can.
I think when he gets settled on a team,
If I can see
then that
anything.
shows that he can
BDS?
then thrive. And Oxygen, it definitely
You
seems to
got
be that
BDS?
team. They struggled. They didn't get out of Swiss in that first qualifier, and now they have proven right. We can be a top 4 team.
Yeah, I think Oxygen are looking better, but I still have faith in BDS
top,
here.
You know, 5-4 kind of team. Oxygen they've got a very big battle ahead of them. They can absolutely do it. This is a really quite
That
50-50
hat is
series,
very tight on
when I think you
Snasky's
look at
head.
the quality of the team yesterday.
That's like a perfect fitting hat there.
Oxygen are the most likely team to break into that sort of top 4.
Charlie's hair looks so
I could be
fluffy.
wrong, you know, as events go on.
Is that just me?
Stay consistent.
It just looks like if you touched it, it would have like a lot of, like my hair is super flat. If you touch my hair, you just feel my skull, but I feel like he has like a lot of volume to his hair. If you just like patted the top of his head, there'd be some distance to cover before you touch his skull.
I mean, he had our top #1 play with that insane, I guess you could call it a psycho. It was a backboard redirect.
I saw some debate whether it was or not.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Like going from like, what was it? It was a save and then into the corner and then flick it into the
Is
other
BDS
net.
or is Monkey Moon singing?
But he's got this man behind him, Monkey.
He looks full on
some question marks at the beginning, but you got such a consistently top placing player like
Oh man, they have good vibes over here. Good vibes.
Fix those mistakes, and right now they're looking pretty confident.
Coach is gonna have to tell him to lock in, but they got good vibes going. Monkey's super relaxed. Has he been like that in previous seasons? I feel like Monkey's usually like super locked in, but he's running with the good vibes approach before his games this season.
think, for Team BDS.
compared to last season.
Absolutely, chat. You know what to do right now. Do we think
That's always a better
Oxygen
environment.
is
I
going to be
prefer
able to take this
teams
one
that
against
have
BDS? I know they've made a lot
that
of
have
new
that
fans
sort of
since
environment.
yesterday,
Let me
so
vote
let's see you
in the
guys come
chat
out
really
in
quick. I
full
gotta give my
clothes,
shout
but
out to
BDS again,
BDS here.
That little hurdle, just a little tiny one on the other side here.
So good
I
good
think
for
at
them.
this point, it is
Wow,
still
the chat
difficult, Coleman, if we
predictions
can see it
are
today,
in terms of
to go
like
with Oxygen,
Twitch
sure, in the
points
future, but
is
still, I think logically you have to
87%
land,
in
on the
favor
side
of
of Oxygen.
BDS.
I mean, also,
Nobody believes in Oxygen. Holy
when you
cow.
look at the quality of the wins yesterday,
And it just
Oxygen
keeps getting
looked
bigger.
Very good. They looked
Yikes.
brilliant versus Redemption. Redemption didn't
Oh, everybody's
put up
got
as much of a
BDS
fight
here
as we
too.
wanted them to. That wasn't as exciting as we've seen Redemption play previously. Whereas BDS, the quality they got over
Yep.
Gentlemates, that was something very, very special. It's going to be tough to argue against the open era GOAT of Monkey Moon as well.
Yeah, Cole.
I was going to quickly say, really quickly, we've seen Oxygen be destroyed, and then we've seen Oxygen destroy. What I want is a close series to see how they come up with that.
Well, then let's hope we can get Cole a close series. The match is ready from most people's
All
perspective.
right.
Oxygen has some hurdles to tackle here. BDS stands as the favorite, but Oxygen has made it clear that does not matter to them. One best of 7 stands as the last barrier to a grand finals.
Whoop 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 whoop. Second semifinal. I think this one is going to be closer. This one should be closer than the other one. I hope it's a game 7. I really hope. I've got my fingers crossed. Does anybody want to see BDS just crush right away? Or I suppose Oxygen if you're an Oxygen supporter, because I don't.
The overall standings, but it's also just a great chance for Oxygen to show what they're made of. You know, they took the L in Swiss, but BDS didn't lose to anybody in Swiss, so suddenly that doesn't look all
Here we
that
go.
bad. Yesterday they looked like a completely different team.
Oh,
Now they can
oh,
show
they almost
that
got a goal off the
are
rip.
at that top level.
Yeah, I think Oxygen could look like a top 4 contender, to be honest. It's just, yeah, they didn't look as quality. Nice bomb. What a clear. Let's go. Ixo trying to turn really closely there, and then Shadow. Yeah, he just needed to commit to that play. That's dangerous for him no matter what.
The net's open for BDS. And you know, this is really for me the big question: can Oxygen survive the BDS pressure? When BDS get into that final third, they look absolutely terrifying. If Oxygen can fight them for the midfield, I think they've got a chance.
Nice, good follow from Exotic. Oh, he's just gonna put it down the field. Interesting. Yeah, we've got Oski. He's a really solid player. He was definitely like a Tau. Oh, a Tau and him kind of competed on Team Liquid for who looked the most mechanical, like had more pop-off plays. But yeah, I do think a Tau was the stronger of the two. Not to take anything away from Oski though.
Exotic not shy to lunge in there as third man, and that's been what really separates BDS from all the other teams. Well, everyone except Karmine Corp. These two teams have been able to
nice Monkey in defense. Oh, that's awkward. Exotic clutch save.
Left-stranded for a second there, diving save to keep BDS one ahead.
I continue to love the decals. Just Exotic and Monkey Moon rocking their own decal all the time. Every time I see him in game, I think about how clean it is. Oh, good save. Wow, Monkey didn't have anything left in the tank.
Yeah, nice cut there by Ixo to get the ball on target.
Oh, Drelly missed!
Drelly has gone in for Monkey Moon for 2-0. Well, regardless of Drelly's intentions.
Drelly missed and Oski really thought he had it. Oh no, he's going for the block.
And it's just gone straight through him and into the net.
I don't think Drelly intentionally missed that, by the way. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think he did try to get a touch on that.
Yes, reacting well to spells under defense. Now they've got the offense again on kickoff.
Oh, clutch demo.
Monkey Moon wiped off the face of the field. Drally fakes a challenge. Now it's to go up to prevent Ixo, who's...
Guess you just woke up? Welcome in, Raptor. How you feeling after your 10-mile walk yesterday? Are you sore? Are you exhausted from it?
BDS have made the most of their opportunities, and they might be about to have another one. Monkey Moon's on the way.
Oh, here we go. He's just going for the outplay over the top.
Large Oscar.
Not bad, not bad.
Stop him short. But
Ooh.
Monkey Moon's not done. He almost gets the point blank range. Just softest of touches to deflect it on target. Now here comes Oski the other way. He's got a flip to work with.
Dang.
Fake out.
What a good save.
And let Archie come in. BDS are so ready for everything.
Maybe
Oxygen
I'm
grab.
taking Ixo's interview too too seriously, but wouldn't it be hilarious if BDS 4-0'd them?
Just get completely caught off guard by BDS.
I'm not Sora, surprisingly. I'm just exhausted. Well, that's good then.
BDS, the one that dominated for RLCS Nexus. That's going to drop down. Monkey Moon's had a bit of an argument with the ceiling. It's definitely had it on the mind to just drop
Nice.
down and put that one into the
Okay.
net. But the old BDS, even the BDS that was dominating in season
Going for the 50. Exotic to Monkey. Back to Monkey. Oh, come on.
This one starts off a rapid pace.
Yeah, they're still pushing into the half, even though BDS have had low boosts in some situations. They're prioritizing the pressure, which is nice. What a save from Archie. Let's go. High pop. Oski gets there first.
For BDS. Ixos trying to create something for the team. Archie likewise, but look how difficult it is for them to make any progress, really. As BDS continue to circle that midfield and box Oxygen into their half of the pitch.
Oxygen haven't had hardly any pressure, and when they have, Monkey Moon has been clutching the goal. Or Exotic. Monkey Moon or Exotic have had some clutch saves. Can Exotic get back to it? The fake!
It still stays 2-0.
Yeah, BDS, even when they are sending two players into the Oxygen goal.
What a challenge from Drally.
The third is
like, it's gonna look like he didn't do anything there because he didn't get a touch on that, but he forced Oxygen to go back down low, making an easier challenge for his teammate. Oh! Whoa, wait, what just happened? I'm kind of confused based off of that camera angle. Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, did Archie put that in behind him? And he did. He outplayed Ixo on the goal line.
He's just so
nice.
scary on the ball.
Okay, and that's just now they're bleeding goals.
Scoring to make it 4. I mean,
now they're bleeding goals.
Something else, especially in opening games this tournament. Yesterday, winning 6-0 against Gentlemates.
Exotic is Zen. Zen isn't Zen at this point, so. Although, which is crazy. What's the fit for Championship Sunday? I'll show you. It's basically the same, the same thing, just a different tank top underneath it.
Gut check of a team. If you beat them, you are legit.
Like I said, I don't have that many fancy items in my closet, so you know, you basically get to see the same jacket and slacks every time.
They do not let it happen.
Oh, good save. Good landing from Oski too. He drifted through that so that he would get a better recovery in the corner.
Oxygen with the ones to something to prove in game 2.
I mean, Oxygen are
yeah, good way to make it entirely untense watching a 0-second goal. Watching for a 0-second goal. Okay, here you go. Here's what I got for you. It's a different top, but basically, yeah, same thing. Slacks. Slacks, jacket,
have got a longer series now to try and
calm hair down to try to look a little bit more dressy.
BDS over Oxygen and Swiss, and a similar,
we continue to bring the heat.
Kind of, start to
if it were warmer, I might wear a dress at one point, but I don't know. It's usually cold in my room.
Just figure out a way to just get the ball moving in the right direction. That's really for me the big
production is a little bit funky right now.
Past BDS players.
That's an issue. It's been a problem for years now when you take on a monkey.
Man, that goal did not need to happen.
Past the midfield. That's the first question every single team is asked. And
it's like Oxygen aren't looking ahead on plays. They're just playing the ball as it drops in front of them rather than looking around to see what is occurring. Like especially on Ixo trying to save that pass from Exotic. That's what it appeared like.
He showed a different level when it comes to
anybody else dressing up on Championship Sunday?
He stops everything, much to the frustration of his opponents, and it's not like Drally and Exotic are doing. Also, I've been messing with my camera, so hopefully it starts to look consistent.
Because I've noticed some days it looks like I am the palest person in the world, and then other days it seems to be properly exposed. And most of the time, when it does look proper, is ooh close. is when I wear dark colors. I'm in bed? Okay. Well, you're out of the running then. I'm doing an Erica at the moment. Erica did pop in earlier, but I wonder if she fell back asleep.
So before that BDS rotation could get fully established after the kickoff, Oxygen have struck first.
That is their first goal of
I
the
do
series.
want to
Need
point
knock
out
from here. Again,
that
another
originally
kickoff.
when I asked you guys if
Does better with the
if
reads.
you wanted me to do watch parties, Erica said yes, yes, I would love to watch RLCS with you. And then she usually sleeps for more than half the broadcast. What kind of camera? It's a Logitech C920 webcam. So it's not the highest quality, but it's decent enough that I can adjust its settings. I just have to reset them every single time I start my computer. So I'll figure out what settings seem to work for the lighting situation that I have. That I use, and then I'll write down those settings and just have to turn and like adjust them every single broadcast. Which is what I do anyways, because this is, I have my camera fully zoomed in, so I have a little bit closer crop. Like, not that I'm sure you guys wouldn't enjoy seeing my room, but it's basically just, you know, looks like this. With me slightly less in focus. So yeah, something I already do every single time I get prepared for stream is I zoom it in all the way. So I just need to add like a change to exposure and white balance and that sort of stuff. Adding on top of it. And the brightness. I was messing with it this morning, and it seems like brightness makes a big difference in terms of it looking right. Because I thought it was white balance at first because of my clothes changing colors, and that it was like picking up on different shades and treating them as more white than other shades. And then I was like, no, it must be the exposure, but I think it's a combination of all those three. Oh yes, it's a decent camera. What phone do you have? I have a Samsung S10e, I think. But I don't know if I'd want to use my phone as a webcam. I could, and it would be higher quality, but it would require me to buy things to plug it in and make it work with my computer. Whereas, like, I already have this webcam, it's decent enough. For now, it might be, you know, better to put my energy into something else rather than figuring that out. Like, for example, I do want to adjust how my microphone sounds. I don't like the settings, how they are currently. Especially, like, it seems to really pick up anytime, like, I smack my lips, and it drives me nuts to hear that back in the VODs. Like, I'm sure you guys have just gotten used to it, but I've been losing my mind hearing those. So I'm probably gonna adjust my microphone settings. The quality is fine. Yeah, it's just that little thing. Everything else about my microphone I think is alright, but it's just it picking up the lip smacks, which I could adjust my speech and try to do that less. But I think a microphone could also just not pick those up. Ooh, nice. My phone I just got is the Samsung Galaxy S20 Note. Isn't the Note the biggest version? I went with E because I don't want a massive touchscreen. Like, I like to show you the difference, I think the phone that I had before I got the S10 was the 7, so like, you know, 3 generations earlier, and they adjusted the size over that time to be that much bigger that getting... Is that still in? When I went to exchange them, because I was on Verizon at the time, and they take your old phones so that they can give them to, like, you know, developing countries, or they use them in the military, whatever, I don't know. They repurpose them, basically. And when I was comparing, like, holding my current phone, the S7, next to the S10s, the S10e, which is the smaller version of that phone, was the same size. Otherwise, the regular one, if I had just continued to get a regular phone, it was that much, it was like a little bit bigger. In OBS, you can add a mic filter that will eliminate that. Yeah, I just haven't figured out. I've already got mic filters on. I just have to fiddle with it again. Because it was good enough just to get me started. outside of like my raw mic, because my raw mic isn't that bad. The AT2020 isn't that bad for. Oh, they keep clearing them out. Man, this is savage. Jeez. But yeah, the AT2020 isn't that bad of a mic, just raw without any filters. But I put a couple on to make it sound a tiny bit better. You know, cutting out the hum of my computer on the desk, or you know, like little stuff like that. But I definitely overcorrected some settings, so I gotta mess around with that again. Or if I want to be lazy, close fake. The AT2020 is the mic I use for years. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. There's just a couple things. Like it's more sensitive, and it does seem to be a tiny bit quieter in terms of like gain in applications. Like I've had to turn it up in a few applications to get the same level of noise, but maybe I'm just doing something else wrong. I don't know. Oh, good pass, good save.
Once more,
Yeah, no, BDS just looked too solid here. I don't know.
Slightly improved.
Okay, Ixo might be upset that they decided to continue shooting there because he stopped moving. Oh, we thought that was a goal. That's what it is. Okay, they're gonna take a timeout for sure.
These two teams played. And Oxygen seemed to be
I don't know, it was going to be my mom's, but she didn't want it, so she gave it to me. My previous phone is a Motorola G Play. I don't recognize that. Off the rip. Let me look that up. Motorola. Motorola.
I think there's two parts to this
G Play.
I want to go into. Firstly, there's a worry here that Oxygen still haven't scored.
I mean, yeah, that just looks like any other smartphone, really.
Soon after a kickoff.
Did it have a good camera? Because that's a main thing that I think other companies or other brands have been lacking versus Apple. Since they started doing smartphones, is that Apple does have the advantage in terms of the cameras, but they're starting to really close the gap. Like I think the most recent Samsung camera has been as good as Apple's. Of course, I don't know from personal experience, but I thought I heard that somewhere. Not bad camera. Yeah.
Drally's going to hit the ball top bins, and if
yeah,
your entire defense is imagining that the shot from Drally's going top bins and you all cover it, then nobody's covering the simple shot low down the middle, and you know, it is a great play by Drally to anticipate that.
What do you guys think of BDS in this matchup? I don't know, it's kind of like I said in the said before the games, is that yeah, Oxygen have been looking better, but they just still don't look like the top 4 level. Like they're just outside of that range.
Not leaving many openings, not many big ones at least for Oxygen to exploit.
I've had it for 5+ years.
Right after a kickoff for Oxygen, and that's when BDS did not have their full rotation established yet. Once BDS get into that, you know, rotation in the midfield, Oxygen have not scored. They have not scored from midfield play in 2 games.
Why is Ixo not turning around and looking at his coach?
Nasky's got to work some magic here. His team back into this game, and this next game is must
I recently left Apple after 10 years of employment. I'm a bit biased. Yeah, I've never truly picked up Apple products, but it's mostly because of the price. Like I think for the most part the price is warranted. I think they do make better products, but like specifically when they moved over, it was before. I mean, that was after I had already decided that I was going to remain a Samsung user. But yeah, when they removed the headphone jack and changed it to like the charging port for all Apple products, I just thought that was really stupid. And it seemed like a move from a company that was trying to monopolize you using all of their products if you used one of their products, you know? Like instead of hey, we're synchronizing all of our systems and our ecosystem so that you as a user find more convenience in it, and instead it felt like a ploy to say, okay, now all of every single other companies in the world's headphones no longer work, besides Bluetooth, no longer work with your new phone, and you have to get our specific earbuds if you want to have a wired connection. Oh, they saved that.
Denied by BDS.
I've started to have problems with it, but never thought to buy a new phone. Yeah, my phone kind of has to be on the edge of completely dying before I get a new one. Like my S7, it started to randomly shut down on me, and it came back on most of the time. It would just like shut down and reboot on its own. Oh, they bumped each other. Wait, where did the bumps come from? I thought I saw Oxygen bump each other, but maybe BDS got him. Okay, it was BDS bumping him. Nice. Did K-Corp win? Yes, they won in 4-1. Magnifico looked really solid. They kept the games close. They looked better than Vitality did against Carmen Core yesterday. They weren't quite at that level. They were good games though.
Just largely uncontested.
I want to give huge shout-outs as well here to Exotic, because he's doing that one
nice
thing, no points for it, but I don't think I've seen him miss a bump that he's aimed for.
I don't know, you're not human if you don't have biases, so whether they are valid or not, I think somebody is always going to have a bias. NA next weekend? Yep, exactly. And actually, if you guys are interested in watching, close, still a goal though. BDS are clutching it out right now. Yeah, if any of you guys are interested in watching the day 3 of the North American qualifiers, the double limb part of the bracket, which we've never covered before, I am going to be doing a separate stream tonight, a second one, to tune into those games just in case there's any madness with the top teams not making it through as expected. But it'll kind of be similar to Swiss, where the official broadcast does not cover any of those games, so we just have to rely on team streams. So like if there's crazy matches going on, we might not follow one series specifically. We might switch around depending on how the performances go. Oh cool, night stream? Yeah, night stream. Night stream, just because it's the last event, and if any top teams do drop out, we can look at how the rankings and other teams' possibilities for making top 4 in North America will turn out. You know?
They do desperately need one here.
Oh, that was a peak goal. What? Sick. Man, that was such a controlled touch too, because he could have very easily bopped that into the backboard. That was sick out of Ixo.
What else can they do? Kick off. Exotic will keep it, but he's on low boost.
Yep, they're getting chased again.
To just try and create something, as you can see, Drali just waiting around.
And Ixo needed to cut in there, but it made his teammates awkward. What is that trail, by the way? The trail that we're seeing on Ixo.
Drali nice and comfortable to play it back corner.
I see so many pros use that, but I don't know what item it is. Oh, does he not save that? Okay.
Dismantle defenses single-handedly. We know where Archie's peak is. He is, one of those players.
Why are we just Ixo cam now? Broadcast, hello. They've done this so much. I wonder, it can't be an intentional thing, right? Right?
So far, so good.
Because like we're on player cam of Ixo, obviously, because you can see when he pings his camera on and off. Versus director, like you have ball cam on regardless of what the players are doing.
Difficult conundrum when you do play against BDS. Do you long clear?
Production still has a long way to go. If this is intentional, it was a very poor decision, and if it's not intentional, that's almost just as bad, because it means that they are not paying attention to their broadcast.
Exactly right. I mean, when BDS
like, come on. Come on, guys. There we go. We finally get a change, but we've been on Ixo for what, like 2 full minutes? Come on. Gotta be better than that. And now we're just permanently on it. I was like, we go from being on only one player's cam the entire gameplay to only having like a bird's eye view.
Make sure that Exotic got the bump.
Yikes.
They can't keep it going. Here's Archie yet again.
Okay.
And he's managed to, I feel
Like
that's a
they
steal.
pulled me out of this game. It was a really close series. It was a 1 goal, and finally they've equalized. But I can't be invested in it because of the terrible camera work.
You're absolutely right. It is a goal steal.
Come on.
Great goal steal there from Archie padding the stats.
Beautiful.
But those are the,
That's not good enough. It needs to be better. How late is it going to be? It starts at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so half. Oh, they got a lead. Nice. They're fighting back. 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 11:30, 12:30, 1:32, 33, 34, 30. 6.5 hours from now. Seems like a BDS versus K and K Corp Grand Finals. That's what I would assume. But Oxygen are doing better. Like I said though, I can't analyze the gameplay like I had been doing previously because we stayed on one player's cam the entire time. Like that took me out. They still got a chance. I think Oxygen take this game, but I still favor BDS.
How on earth has this happened? Raleigh looking to try and create something for his team.
Dang. I feel like maybe he just needed to flick there. Flick and fast follow.
Yeah, sorry, getting a bit ahead of myself on the script there. That's not, of course, tie the series. That's just their first game. But, of course, you need to. Just take it.
That's 6 for me. Yeah, it's 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. Pacific time. If Oxygen wins, this is scripted. Wins like the next game.
Not only creating goals for them, but also shutting down BDS opportunities at the other end. And keeping that level up is going to be a very difficult thing to do. Oxygen have done something they have not done for the rest of the weekend yet. That's a game against BDS. They came back as well to do it.
Yeah, something that not very many teams can lay their hat to.
I mean, this is another close series.
Taking a look at the goals that have come through.
No, the series. Really? You think that means it's scripted?
BDS not have anybody back, and
I don't know. I think Oxygen can get it. Just because I favor BDS doesn't mean that I don't think Oxygen can't win. They just, you know, their past performances haven't quite inspired me to lean towards them. Lead towards favoring them, you know? So.
Good idea, in my opinion, to get BDS into those weird positions that they're just
I'm gonna eat a snack really quick, so I'm gonna disappear off your screen. Boop. I'm still here though. I am still present.
In the first 10 seconds or so after the kickoff, maybe it's Oxygen who can be the better team.
And we'll find out. BDS encountering their first resistance, and that's the kickoff that you highlighted earlier on, Johnny.
It is, yeah. I mean, they're just leaving the ball so that they can get it for free in the back corner, and it has resulted in an immediate chance for them. So, you know, credit to Oxygen. They have got BDS in just a weird position. BDS, they're having to actively think here. They're not autopiloting. They're not in their flow state in these moments. They're having to actively think and rely on intense communication. And it's difficult, clearly, once again, to these positions, though. I mean,
great patience out of Monkey Moon there.
A little bit too automatic. Walks the ball into
Like, you could have quickly popped that out to the middle so much earlier than that, but he decided to wait and make the defenders even more awkward.
25 seconds into game number 4, they have done exactly that. Let's see what the kickoff's going to be this time around. A little bit more, you know, sort of the norm this time around.
Yeah, the norm is the mix-up, of course, when you've been weird a bunch of times in a row. And again, they are getting a chance early. Oxygen continuing to look very good in the first play after the kickoffs occur, but BDS have escaped both without conceding so far this game. But Oxygen are still in with a chance to put them under pressure here. Oh, it's such a good touch by Monkeyman though. Drally's not on the end of it though, so suddenly it's Exotic having to dart back and control this. He's got no boost on the back wall. Oxygen just applying that squeeze and starting to ask to the questions of BDS.
Who's stolen? Monkey Moon moves on in, slows down the play. He's going to follow up. Where's the support? Exotic on the far side. Chooses to play up the wall. Oski's on 0 boost, so that's not going to help the defensive push. Does have the defensive push. Is a clear like that one. Don't want to play Boomer Bowl too often with Monkey Moon, but this time around, I'd say Auction got the better of it.
I'm eating a snack, Luca, so I turn off my cam whenever I'm eating. You guys don't need to see me munching.
I don't think he would mind it too much. Good defense from Eek, so they're having to get big goal side as Exotic tried to 50 it past him. Same side for Archie, but can Ixo get this one under control? Yes, he can. Critical landing on the back wall. If that wasn't a smooth recovery, it could have been bad news for Occident.
Again, Ixo just chasing downfield, looking to put some pressure on the defenders.
Could be.
Now Monkey Moon's by himself, couldn't be found for a bump. In goes Oski, unchallenged, and it's just wide.
Again, we are seeing more extended passages of play where Oxygen can keep the attack going. This is a real level up for them. But they do have to be careful. We saw some pretty quick transition play from BDS as well. It's not just the offensive rotation that wins them series. Drelly's let that one go past him unnecessarily, and Ixo's managed to trade himself for Exotic in that position. Double Demo usually does favor the team who are going to have the defensive respawn. No mistakes allowed in positions like this for Occident. Good news for them is that I think BDS are starting to get on the wrong side of the ball a little bit more as a good interception comes in for Occident to stop another attack and stop another shot on target.
Yeah, it's nowhere near what it was in the first two games. BDS have been a little... Might get a chance to finish the sentence. They're still fine.
How'd they let that in?
Oh, I don't think Archie... I don't think Archie
Wow, Archie left it.
The Drally was going to go. He just
Interesting.
waited, and Drally just full
I was going to say Drally was looking rougher.
Makes perfect sense. He sees Archie looking awkward, sees Oski very close to the ball, maybe even underneath it, and he just goes for the shot. Occident cannot afford, just as we talked about, you can't afford these mistakes in these critical moments. BDS have been known to run away with games when their opponents do start to crack under the pressure.
Drop down again. Ixo plays it to the corner. Minute and 40 on the clock. Archer needs some big opportunities. This is going to be one of the ways they're going to create them. Just been launching forward the first man and then sending them even further forward. Looking for bumps, looking to steal boost. Finding reasonable successes. Exotic drop down pass. And Monkey Moon will
What a
finish
freaking
off.
good play, man.
Oh, it's just a beautiful 1-2 play there.
That was a
Exotic
great
run away with
pass.
the ball and take it
Man,
back
oh
again.
man.
Both Archie and
He like
Ixo
pulled the
go for
rug
that
out
one.
from under the
And they're
Oxygen
both
defenders with
second
that.
in the race to Exotic. Again, Oxygen making these small mistakes. They're double committing. They're getting these misreads when they go early for the ball, and it's just not good enough. You need to almost play perfectly. Well, you definitely can't make unforced errors. Let's just say that much against this BDS lineup.
No, the shot accuracy and the placement from BDS has been phenomenal this entire time. Does not seem to be such a thing as a half chance. It is just, you've let me take a shot. Shame on you. You shouldn't have let that happen. So do see a demo come through. Exotic buys some time for Monkey Moon to respawn. This is the best place for BDS at the moment. Just stuck in the corner. Very difficult for Oxygen to create much, and now they have got rid, although that is not a fun place to be, and Exotic does well enough just to shield the ball away from a shot.
Drally has looked a little bit less confident in his aerials. I don't know if he's trying to play too fast and he's just like outplaying himself or what. But if there's a weak link that I'm gonna point out on BDS, it'd be Drally right now.
Will be another game for BDS with just 24 seconds left in the
Like
clock.
they're getting goals because of Monkey Moon and Exotic just being solid.
And timeout has been used already.
BDS, let's go. Let's go, let's go.
Their Swiss matchup against BDS, but it has not been enough. And after all is said and done, it's another goal for BDS. It's another 4-0 on the scoreline.
Tell you what, when BDS win, they do it in some sort of fashion, don't they? Do not allow it to be a close game.
I mean, they've won 4-0, 4-1, and 4-0 now, assuming there's no more goals here. It's really quite astonishing. I mean, Occident can try so many different strats here, but every time they leave a small gap, BDS are there to score it, and they're not, like, it's almost a forgettable 4-0 because they're not completely stealing the show with the highlights on every single play. Obviously, they do like to mix those in. Of course, we saw Drally with goal of the weekend yesterday against Gentlemates, but they just score clinical goals. When there's a small gap, couple of BDS players are there. It's not just one, it's the team. They're all there to punish it. And now Occident
No, Raptor, I think Sheb is calling you champ. Like, hey champ, what's up, champ? How you doing, champ?
BDS is looking playing much more consistently.
A description
I don't know, Shogun. It's looking very, very difficult from this moment.
It does feel like the BDS team has been the
I misread
exact
that.
same. No matter
Yeah.
what players we put onto this. It's
That's all right.
If you go a goal down,
That's what
it's
I'm
gonna
assuming.
get
That's
real
what you mean,
difficult
right,
because
Cheb?
they can score
Like
when you
a
are
like a
playing
dad
pretty
slapping a
close
kid
off.
on the
Now
shoulder
you've
and
gotta
saying,
open
"How you doing,
yourself up
champ?"
And take more risks. They tend to just run away with it in the last minute.
All right.
And that has been the case now for
Thank you
years.
guys for waiting
Crazy
while
though,
I took
given
a
that
little
the different names that we've
snack
seen on
break.
this team, that should not be the
Luca,
case, but it
chill.
is.
I'm about to time you out. I
You know, it's
explained
just,
it already. I
guess
do
we're
not
all
have
just
my cam
looking
on
at Monkey
when I am
Moon for all
eating
this whole
food.
time, and, you know, we've kind of
So
known
chill
that
out,
for a
dude.
while, but everybody's
Yes, that's what you meant? Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I think I've gotten a good gauge on your age, and it is just like a phrase that you might use.
Another grand final rematch.
Oh my god, he's done so well.
Well played, Oski.
I saw there was a funny post where it was like dad with jokes or whatever is the account's name. It was a while ago. It was a couple of years back. But it was like, I just called a kid champ today. My cargo shorts have added 2 pockets. L reader on my part. Yeah, absolute L. Although I am an L reader as well, because you said yellow and I was like, why are you saying yellow rather than like yellow, like hello. Paper knows me? Yeah. Oh, see? It's Drowley. I think Drowley is a little bit under the weather, but Exotic and Monkey Moon are still are catching each other. They're making up for it.
Got to stay in control. Ixo is giving them a way out though. Yes, even when
All right.
a little bit difficult on defense.
I don't know, like I said, Oxygen, they look solid enough. They're just they're not quite strong enough, I know. Like I don't know. I think Archie got ahead of himself. Or not Archie, I meant Ixo. Ixo got ahead of himself with that interview yesterday. Like, they deserve some respect on their name, but they haven't won against like top teams. Not BDS level, exactly. Although arguably, I guess after this event, you would say that BDS is number 2 in Europe. Whereas we thought it was Gentlemates last week, but Gentlemates have clearly looked at a lower level of play in the Swiss and the single elim this event. Like, not enough that it makes me not want to vote for them in the next qualifier. But yeah, true that Oxygen is struggling. They don't quite have the bites that some other teams do. And it's mostly because of how they involve each other as a team. Maybe it's premature for me to come to that conclusion, but that's just what I'm noticing so far. Good stop from Archie. And to keep possession of that on the back wall so that Ixo could follow up, that was great. Are there any girl RLCS players? There has been one female RLCS pro, and her name was Karma, but she has retired. She plays in the women's scene now, but she has retired from RLCS. I think there could be, there's just like, there's cultural and systematic disadvantages to being a female gamer, not even like Rocket League player, gamer in general. And we still have to break down those barriers a little bit more before we regularly see, because it's not just the gaming scene itself not being accepting of female like top players. It's also like a cultural thing where when I was in high school, it was much more unacceptable for me to play video games all day than it was for a boy the same age as me to do that. Like if I did that all day, they'd say, what's wrong with her? Why doesn't she want to do other things? Why doesn't she want to like pursue sports or pursue crafts or, you know, like go outside, like that sort of thing. But if a boy does that, it's kind of like, oh yeah, but he'll grow out of it. So yeah, it's not just within the gaming community itself. It's like there's cultural barriers for women being like, if you can't put in the time regularly that these guys are in a video game, then you're just, it's much less likely that somebody's naturally talented enough to get to the top. I want to see more. I would love it so much. I like, you know, it's a conversation in the scene where people are like, well, why can't women just compete in the same events? Why do they need their own leagues, their own sponsors, like their own prize money that dudes can't compete for? And it's like, yeah, I mean, there is an argument for that, but after the scene is already accepting enough of that what is it called? How do you describe it? It's the marginalized community, marginalized. So I don't want to say gender because that's not all inclusive enough, because there are other marginalized group. Maybe that's the best way to say it. But there are other boundaries, like outside of just like, oh, other pro players don't want to be teamed with women, so women get less quality practice or less quality opportunities, which Karma, the only female pro player, has spoken about before. She tried to be professional for the longest time, but like, and she was still professional when she said it, but basically when she was competing, she didn't really speak about all of those setbacks that she had just because she was a woman. I think she also had a couple because she was older than the average pro Rocket League player. But yeah, after she retired from RLCS, she did mention some of them. Oh, here we go. In a perfect world, men and women would compete at the same level in esports, but in absence of those fair opportunities between everybody, you need the separate league. You need the women's league and you need the open league. Oh, that's not in! When Energy signed Shell, I thought they would start integrating the teams. Why would them? Didn't they just signed her as a content creator, didn't they? Like she's not a high enough level player to be even nearly pro. Isn't she like a champ? Oh, what a save! Oh, if that pinch right back into the other net. That'd be a painful way to lose for Oxygen. Who did she play for? I can't remember all her teams, but the one I mainly remember is Splice. They were yellow and black, and it was like a snake as the team logo. That's the main one I recall. Luca. Shell is GC1. I don't think she could play. Yeah, C3 to GC1. That's what I thought. I didn't think there are other female Rocket League players that are a higher level. So like they definitely just signed Shell as a content creator. Such an entertaining team when they can get into that. For some sports, you have to have separate leagues, but not all. Exactly, like
exotic ceiling reset ends up leaving it for Monkey Moon.
Now we've lost game audio. Like, can the production please do better, please? Man, that was good. They left. They all left. And they got rid of their cams. Oh, they're a little bit sad about that loss. Yeah, I think physical sports is a different conversation because men have certain like physical advantages that women don't have. But yeah, if we're just talking about esports, I think in an ideal world they're all integrated. You know, man or a woman or whatever you identify as can compete all in the same leagues.
They have such a consistent floor, it would seem, and that is a
shoot, I would love to play with a girl on my team. At the time, Energy were being secretive. I thought they were going to surprise the world with her on the team. Just speculation on my part. Yeah, there are other other players that, like top female players that they could pick up, like the ones that immediately come to mind, like the main one is Tallybird. Tallybird is the best, or at least the highest ranked female player that I know about. And Ravena, I guess Ravena, however you pronounce her name, in EU, she's also like, she could be, I'd say those two are probably like bubble team level, which they have been competing and trying to qualify for RLCS with teams like for years now. But Tallybird, please do Tallybird. I'll spell it for you in chat. Yeah, when I was doing the cinematic montages or the trailers for Jagantech for his events, I would mostly look up 1v1 replays to be able to take like cinematic shots from, and Tallybird was up there against, like, you know, Appjack, you know, all those sort of stuffs. Like Tallybird is NA and Ravena is EU. And yeah, those are the two ones that come to mind that are closest currently, but Karma is the only one who broke into like main stage RLCS, and I don't know if she did it that many times. We could even look her up here. Let me just open another window. So let's look at the teams that Karma was on. There we go. There we go. That is the only female pro player that I think has broken into the top. Now she's on G2's women's team, and they were dominant in the women's league. But let's look at her team history. Yeah, so you guys can't quite see it. Let me zoom out, and then maybe you could see it on the side here. No, it's still not good. Maybe is it down here? Man, I wanna be able to show you guys this, but I can't. Hold on. Hold on, I took a screenshot of it and I'll pull it into the center of the screen, maybe. Wait! That didn't even work. Hold on. I can't get it. Okay, so basically, the main teams that she was on was Splice, Charlotte Phoenix, and 72 PC, but it looks like it was just as a substitute. So those are the main names that I recognize. Yeah, L Streamer, I wasn't prepared to have a screen capture rather than a window capture. My bad. But let's see, maybe I could look up Tallybird. Tallybird here, so yes. Yeah, she's been competing for a while. It looks like she's had a lot of different teams, but mainly in women's events, and placed pretty well with her team Misfits. Sorry I'm late. I had a lot of fun and I was sleepy. No worries, Philly. How was your birthday? Congratulations on turning 1 year older. JKL streamer. Yeah, and then the other one is Ravena. Looks like they don't have any images, even though they've competed at women's events, so they should have a picture. But yeah, actually, Ravena, funnily enough, competed on Misfits. She, the last season of women's carball, they could compete cross region. So if you had two players physically located in the region that you were competing in, you could have your third player be outside of the region. So Misfits had 2 NA players, and then they had Ravena playing on High Ping from EU. But yeah, those are the 2 active players that come to mind. Like I said, Karma is still playing on a women's team for G2. But yeah, she, as far as I know, she's not still trying to compete in RLCS, but she's the only woman that got to that level. Okay, so as planned, we move on into a BDS versus Karmine Corp grand final. How you guys thinking this is gonna go here? Because I'm gonna lean Karmine Corp, but like I said, I think this could be a close match. Oxygen didn't show up today. They continue to get a nod from me for teams that are lower than them, but in terms of bringing it against teams that might be equal or above them, such as BDS is in level, in my opinion, I'm not going to go with Oxygen. They haven't earned it yet. Good, I bowled 6 games of bowling, pool, air hockey, and went to Urban Air. What's Urban Air? Is that like a game place? Urbana, she's good at soft touches and fundamentals and a good bit mechanical from what I've seen. Yeah, she's pretty good at the game. This is true for any player though. I think there's a difference between being good at the game and being a good team player, because you can be really good at the game and maybe even you work well with your team on the pitch, but there are like personality differences too, where I think maybe Ravenna is a little bit like, I don't know why she hasn't been on a top team yet, and the first one that I saw of her was in Misfits in North America. But yeah, like my team, if I were to try to get the best teams in North America to compete in the women's scene, no offense, I mean, and Erica could say the same thing about me, like Erica and I shouldn't pick each other. we are not high enough level. If we were truly trying to improve and dominate and be like the best team that we could be, we would not team with each other. But we get along so well in terms of vibes, in terms of like on the pitch synergy, that I wouldn't pick anybody else to be on my team. Erica is my duo and I'm sticking with her because, like, I don't know, specifically the women's scene too, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of egos, feelings are easily hurt, and maybe it's the same with RLCS and, like, you know, bubble teams and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm really careful about that, and I'd assume it's the same thing at the top level no matter what your gender is. That like some teams that would be really good together, say like Zen, Vatira, and Rawas, yeah, they might all be the best players in their region or on their teams that they have, but there could be personality differences in when you get them on the pitch together, it actually wouldn't work. You know, theoretically versus in actuality are two different. Want to say BDS? Okay, so is that you confirming that you're going BDS, Vaden? She sounds like a good role player, playmaker for a team. A trampoline park, laser tag, VR, and courses. That sounds like a good deal of fun. W birthday, Philly. Vitality was eliminated yesterday. They went out in stunning fashion against Carmine Corps. They got 4-0'd, and yeah, they got 7-2 and 6-3 in the last 2 games. They really fell apart. Vitality, my faith in them has been shaken. I don't know if I can trust them. I have to see them come back in good form next event for me to believe in them again. But as it stands currently, yeah, Vitality have dropped in my personal rankings. Speaking of rankings, let's look at it really quick here. Hold on while I try to get the mainstream on my other window, just so we don't miss anything. But yeah, when we're looking at the rankings here, that means Oxygen is out, so they stay 1 point behind Magnifico and Team Vitality. Really good for them in terms of, like, they can still catch up. But the main thing about Oxygen being 1 point behind Vitality and Magnifico is that they have to beat them by an extra round to be able to qualify ahead of them. Whereas Magnifico and Vitality just have to stay alive. So, like, for example, if Oxygen want to qualify next event and say all of these teams get into the top 8, Oxygen have to have Vitality and Magnifico drop out in top 8 and then make it to top 4 to be able to qualify, whereas Vitality and Magnifico just need like the same thing, but I guess, like, I don't know, I'm not explaining this well enough, but yeah, BDS extending their possible lead. They're going to get a guaranteed 12 points here, so they'll be a lot closer to Carmine Corps. This makes them more secure to get top 4. And yeah, they've done well for themselves. So clear top 2 in the region, Gentlemates and Vitality falling off this regional. But I still believe that they can come back. They've shown us a level of play before that was clear of the other top 10 teams. It's just a matter of bringing it on the day now. Explainer, my bad, Raptor. I'll strive to be better. Anyways, let's go back to the main broadcast. Let's listen to the educated analysts and casters on the desk. Maybe they got more insight than I do.
You know, I feel like the better teams are just more
better insight.
as well in the bracket. These big teams, once they've
Great breakdown. Thank you for explaining.
Okay, good, we're locking in the points now. That's
Thanks.
where they can really perform at their best. So,
I'm trying. I feel like I could still
don't
be
really
better,
believe
but
anyone is above the
you know,
big
it's
French top
hard.
four. It needs to
As
be
you
like
should
this
strive to be
somebody
better.
who really
Always.
follow them before they
Always.
catch up.
Have you not noticed that I'm starting to try to introduce more like scene info or recaps before we actually start the games for the day, rather than just looking at the brackets? Like, I'm trolling Twitter for you guys, trying to pick out the best content here.
They got a semis looking like that, but now they got to lock in.
You got KC, Philly?
Top 2 seeds coming out
Me
of
too.
Friday, top 2 now
Me
in the grand
too, but if
final.
it was a best of
KC, they're the
7,
guys
I
that
would enjoy
everyone
that.
is chasing. I know we talk about the top 4, the top 2 in Europe, but KC right now, they're the big dogs.
In terms of how much I favor KC over BDS, I'd say it's more like a 4-2. I think KC can pull away from BDS pretty easily. But yeah, the fan in me wants to see Game 7. I always want to see Game 7. Except in the case of if it's a Sa versus Magnifico best of 7, then I want that to be over quickly, because that was not a quality Game 7.
You know, rumors from the French scene were that they weren't at the level of KC and Vitality, but they have completely shut down all those rumors, and they're showing that they can be a unit on the pitch. It's not just 3 individual talents, but a
Yeah,
team
BDS
who
have
are
really
very
proved
much on the same
themselves.
page.
I think Carmine Core is performing how everybody expected for the most part, and BDS have proven more than what people expected.
Are they thinking, right, we were better than them at the start of last series, we're playing a lot better now, let's just do that again? Or are they still feeling a little bit sore from the reverse sweep in a best of 7?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Last event, Carmine Core reverse swept BDS in the semifinals, so maybe that wears a little bit, but Lucky Moon looks like he does not want to be there. I don't think so. I think he just looks like he's taking it seriously.
These guys, when we look at professional teams, K-Corp is just
no one expected them to drop to 16. Are you talking about Carmine Core losing their #1 seed to Sa?
Addresses on the whiteboard, they're just a little bit different. They're all locked in as a
because
team,
the thing is, that would worry me if Carmine Core hadn't then followed that up with the Swiss stage, where even though they went to Game 5 and they had tough matchups, they won against Gentlemates, Vitality, and whoever it was it Magnifico, qualifying into like one of the top seeds in this single elim bracket. Like, if they had dropped to Sa and then they looked shaky in those series, like if maybe they dropped one against Vitality or Gentlemates, then I would have been like, okay, maybe Carmine Core aren't the tippy top. Maybe there's a clear like fight for #1 in EU. But given that they followed it up with a solid winning their series, I don't know. Carmine Core still get my vote. A best of 5 on a day, like I said, I mean, those the talent is close enough in EU. There is more depth in Europe versus other regions, such that there is a chance that those lower teams can have a peak day and take down the top team if they're not, in their perfect level. But
we've got a blue wall here, CJ. Look,
oh wait, I gotta vote in chat. Hold on.
Once again, every time it's KC, and I know chat's gonna be heavily voting KC as well.
Yep, I go KC as well.
Right, but I do agree that BDS.
But yeah,
they took the Game 7 last time. But CJ, what are the win?
I don't know. I think it's more reasonable that Carmine Core drop a match at some point, and of those matches, it is a best of 5 in the double elim, versus like a G2 dropping a series like that in their open qualifiers. But we'll see, because we're gonna watch those later tonight. We are going to watch the last day of the double elim stage for NA tonight. So anybody that wants to tune in with me for that, we will be doing a second stream.
BDS, so large odds for BDS to go up against here if our predictions have anything to say with it, but our match is ready.
I mean,
Ladies
like,
and
if
gentlemen,
the
grand
prediction
finals have arrived.
showed a
The
series
BDS
score, it
versus
wouldn't
the
be
Blue
that
Wall.
outrageous
There's
of a
really not much to
percentage.
say here, but get ready.
Like,
We have Cole
BDS
Stumpy
are
ready
still
to light
really
up the field.
good. I
Grand
just,
finalist, BDS versus K-Corp.
regardless of that, I think Carmine Corps are better. I think BDS have the best chance, besides Gentlemate's last event, to take Carmine Corps down. Like, BDS have looked solid. But Carmine Corps are still the favorite. We'll see. We'll see if you're correct, if you're correct, Modern.
Massive stamp of dominance if they're able to take it past a BDS that looked on fire versus Oxygen.
Sorry, I caught the last of what you were saying. Are you ending, then coming back? Yeah, I'll end after the finals today. I have a few chores to work on because it's, you know, Sunday. I usually do my chores on Sunday. And then when the North American quals start again, then I'll go live again for that.
It's a reverse of what we saw
BDS for the win. Okay, we got Mr. We got Modern, BDS supporters. Anybody else for BDS in chat? Because I'm Carmine Corps. But yeah, if you guys want to join me to watch the last day of the North American double elimination qualifiers, I will be streaming those later at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That is 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time.
They're playing somewhat reactively to it. We saw it in the last series.
Papel, were you and Erica doing streams last night? She added me and I saw she was on in private matches, so that's what came to mind. No, we were supposed to do a scrim, but our third couldn't make it. They were busy with other obligations, so we've gotten our third now, and we're ready to start practicing. We've just got to figure out our schedule, and then we'll start scrimming more. We'll start getting back into the swing of things. It's been like 9-ish months since I've last practiced as a team. Don't know who's in day 3, so it should be interesting. We're gonna look at the bracket before I end stream for EU, so we can look forward to what's going to happen. I have it opened on another screen right now. I recognize some of the teams already. It looks like most of the top 16 teams are where they should be, but I haven't looked at the whole thing. Any tourneys all joining soon? Like I said, we just figured out our third this week, so we're still in the figuring out our schedules and planning stage. So no clue yet. Oh, how'd this happen? I was looking away. Bad RLCS watch party streamer. Oh, just an unfortunate position from Vatira. He had to wait on that based on where he was on the back wall. Would you still be on an RLCS women's team? I mean, yeah, I guess. I just don't think we're a high enough level to compete. I mean, we could try to do RLCS quals, but mostly we'll be competing in women's events, because the organization that I joined this week, I suppose it's last week since it's Sunday, they have a main roster already, and I know there are some rules depending on how you compete where like an org can't field multiple teams. It's a conflict of interest. So I don't know how that works for RLCS. I'm not saying BDS has better odds, it's just that I really like them. Yeah, I mean, they're a really nice team. I'd give them better odds if Drowley looked a little bit cleaner. He's had a few air dribbles that he's missed and just like general touches. Other than that, he's looked good. Nice. Like that pass. Solid. He's looking better. Was there an announcement from your org? Not yet. Not yet. I mean, a couple of the people on the org have popped into chat already, so I guess it wouldn't... I mean, it wouldn't hurt for me to talk about it, but I err on the side of I'll wait for them to announce it. What org are you in? Can we support him? Of course we can support him.
as you know, we've seen before that with the G2.
Yeah, they're a new org. They're nothing that's been established before. I think they were established in February.
Yeah, they're wanting to, but that's
No,
another chance
in
for
beginning
Team
of
BDS
February,
to
end of
upgrade
January,
occasions with some
somewhere around there.
opportunities, and the finishing hasn't quite been there. So despite this lead,
It's strange that they got rid of academy teams. There have been academy teams. One of them specifically, I think that people were pointing out, was in NA, and it was the team that, it's not Aqua, was it Cam? It was the team that Cam was on.
Highest level of Rocket League seen so far.
It's Pirates on a boat, huh? Nah. Nah, Pirates on a boat isn't an org anyways. Although, let's argue the point, what makes an org an org? That they call themselves an org, or is there a certain amount of infrastructure that they need to have for that to be true? BDS have looked really good. Drally just looks a little bit nervous on his touches. I'll let you guys know as soon as it's announced. And I'll probably reflect it like in game. Actually, it is reflected in game. I've joined the org club in Rocket League. So you can, oh, you can see it if I play. Achies go, yeah. Achies is a W coach. He's probably, like, he doesn't have the pedigree that Farah has, but he's probably NA's best hope for having like a top tier coach. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I want to get a lot better. And not only like practice with my team and get back into that 3v3 rhythm, but I just want to become a better player individually. I mean, that's originally why I started doing the 100 days of ones, because I thought that that was the best way for me to improve. Oh, wow. They're hype. That was a good play. He left it. What a lead from Vatira. Have you given more thought to using likable paper as your artist name? I switched it. It is indeed now my username, my artist name. Yeah, I keep meaning to make a community post on YouTube about it for any of you guys that added my music to your playlist and you're like, where did it go? Because Modern came in one day and he was like, I can't play your music on Spotify. So yeah, it switched. But it's an entirely new artist page. So if you want to find it, you have to search up Likeable Paper and add the songs again, because Spotify basically just like disabled the Macklin page and created Likeable Paper instead of switching the name on Macklin page to Likeable Paper. I don't know how that stuff works in the background, but that's what happens. So yeah, if you're looking for my music now, I guess I probably have to update my link in the description. It shouldn't work anymore. I should write that down. I have to write a note. Update music link.
Completely faking out that flip reset. Open for Rise. KC 3-2 in regulation.
These aerial fakes, I mean, how on earth
but yeah, I don't know if it's changed on all the platforms yet. I think when I submitted the change, it said that it could take a couple days or it could take a couple weeks, and it hasn't been a couple weeks since I did that. So maybe it's not changed on like all the extra platforms like Apple, Pandora, all that stuff. But I only use Spotify, and it has changed on Spotify. So why did you have that as your artist name, but you said it wasn't your actual name? Because at the time when I made that album, I made the music and I hadn't chosen an artist name yet. And I have a personal username that I have on Instagram that I was like, oh, I could use that, or I had my real name, or I had Likeable Paper. And at the time, Likeable Paper felt so firmly like a gamer name, and I was like, that doesn't feel right for releasing my music. I also hadn't started creating content yet, so maybe that's what why it felt so that way. I mean, I still kind of feel that way. I'm gonna have to get used to Likeable Paper being my artist name. it still feels like a little bit lowbrow, you know, where there are artists with names similar to that, like Boy with Uke, who, you know, he's been so successful that the name just seems normal now. But to me, like, Macklin sounded more elegant, more artist like I'm not explaining this correctly, but yeah, to consolidate my followings and make it easier for you guys to find things like other than the album that I had already released, and like all of my friends and family knowing me as Macklin on Spotify, like there wasn't a reason for me not to switch over. You know, and it wasn't my real name, but it was a play off of my real name. Wow.
Grand final magic.
He just kept on going. First the flip reset
wow.
off the ceiling.
Vatira got back to that so quickly. You're not on Discord, are you? I am on Discord. Yes.
Stunning grand final goal.
I am on Discord, old gamer.
Anybody on BDS has got over 50 points as well. What dominance we see.
Did you get Macklin from Macklemore? Kinda.
Another shot. And I say dominance just purely by the
Macklemore is another one where it's like, I don't think that is like an elegant artist name, but it doesn't need to be, you know? Hi Kusei, how you doing? We were just talking about the org. I didn't tell chat what it is yet because I didn't know if you guys wanted to wait until it was officially announced, but we were chatting about my team. Is it info you give out? Are you about to ask me about the message you sent to Erica? Because she did share it with me, I just didn't decide on a response to that. So if it's about that, yeah, we could chat on Discord. It'd probably be easier to do that way. W? That's not an answer, Kosei. Can I say it to chat or do you want me to wait? It is about that? Okay, well, what's your Discord name again and I'll add you.
But yeah, BDS, they got a good chance to make sure that they were able to chase a couple more chances over in that blue side.
I know it's like Quentin, Mr. Quentin. But I can't remember anything else. What?
Drops it low. Miss from Exotic. Double players again from the backboard.
W Kusei? Yeah, well, if you guys know what org Kusei is on. Okay, let's wait. Bet. I can do that. How are you enjoying RLCS so far today, Kusei? I think the level of play has been a lot better compared to yesterday.
That was gorgeous play. Every single player.
I'm at work and I have RLCS on the TV here. W. Yeah, what do you think? Do you think it's better than yesterday? I mean, yesterday was kind of a dumpster fire. Like, even some teams that win, it was like, how did you get that win? That didn't look right. Didn't look right. Yeah, I think I spelled it correctly. Mr. Quinn. Okay, yeah, I think I did it right.
The more pressure that Carmine Corp exert upon you, the harder these sort of half chances become as Rise comes forward again, almost fakes them all out. The amount of times, Stumpy, we're seeing 3 BDS players have to dive at the same ball.
Yeah, although the Psycho was nuts from yesterday, true, that was nuts. That was one of the peak aspects of yesterday, for sure.
Very thankful for him to be there if you're a BDS supporter. Up high with 1 minute.
Are you going to be on later for in-houses? I'm doing a second watch party today of North American, the third day of North American Double Elim, just so that me and chat can get a good idea of, like, if teams happen to drop out like Shopify or Moist Resolve kind of did in EU, that sort of thing. We're going to be tuning into that.
Rise sends this one long. Carmine Corp 33 seconds away from making this a long way back for Team
Disappointed
BDS.
with Oxygen, but not surprised with that. Yeah, I don't know. I think Oxygen should have performed better with the interview that Ixo had. Like, he kind of fired some shots, and their performance today did not back that up. They look solid. But I took issue with how he approached that interview. So I noticed most people didn't. They were kind of like, yeah, go off, Ixo. Backtalk talk back, clap back to the analysts and the casters, but yeah, I think he was bordering on disrespectful with his interviews. So I need more out of him before I consistently vote for BDS, honestly, or consistently vote for Oxygen, honestly.
But my word, the quality of goal that we saw from Carmine Corp was
BDS, but K-Corp looks better. Villain Arkeexo. Hey, I'd love for him to be able to back up his words, but my opinion of Oxygen will remain as this right now. They have started to beat the teams that they're supposed to, but they are not competing against the teams equal or higher than them, which is what BDS is.
Turning into one of my favorite assets of this Carmine Corp squad.
If you're drinking a cold one, I see. K-Corp is just better, I can't lie. Wait, what is Fatira drinking? I didn't see it. What's he got?
Just turning around and staring
Rise is the shark in the water.
That's what Team BDS have to deal with. I am running out of ideas.
It's similar to BDS right now. Like, I think BDS on their best day, they can compete with Carmine Corp, but I still think Carmine Corp are clear.
They have of being aggressive does work. But then you talk about the
It's just a difference in consistency for me over a long period, and because Oxygen didn't have the best performance in the first event, like because they didn't have the best performance in the first event, even though they had a solid performance this event, I'm gonna need to see it for one more event before I believe in them. And Vitality had a decent performance in the first event, but they absolutely flopped out this event, so I'm not gonna truly believe in them either. You know? I hope water, but unlikely. It's hidden in the brown paper bag. Ooh, that's not a good sign. Rise is such an impact player. I love watching him. True. True. That's the thing about Carmine Corp is that they are all individually so incredibly strong, but they choose to play with each other. They make so many plays that could be solo plays, but they decide to make them into team plays, and that's what makes them, you know, doubly as dangerous as they should be, just individually.
In both of our games, BDS thinking, no, they should have won that first one. Maybe this should be
probably a sponsor issue, which is why it would be in a paper bag. Sure. Sure it is. Yeah, but imagine it's a beer. I don't think it would be a beer. I know you just use that emoji as like drink in general. But I would guess that it's more like a wine cooler or something. Ah! Whoa! Good pressure. This is why EU is better than NA, not gonna lie. True. True, the only team that I think competes with, I mean, after this weekend, it's a little harder to say this, but if Vitality and Gentlemates return to the form that they were at last weekend, the only NA team that competes consistently on that level for me with those teams is G2. Gen G are like, they're not quite like Oxygen. I'd say they're like Gentlemates for me. Where Gentlemates, they've proven in my eyes that they have a high floor. They just need to have a more consistent peak. And I think Gen G are that same way, where you can tell that they do have a high floor, but their peak, when it doesn't show up, they start to waver. And it's rough. It's rough to watch. No, I use it for what I meant. Okay, so you actually meant beer. Yeah, I just guessed because of French culture that it wouldn't be a beer, necessarily. It might be something a little bit more... Well, the only word I can think of is refined, but that makes it seem like I'm ragging on beer. It is traditionally lower brow, though, so can you blame me? Beer is the ultimate gamer juice? I wouldn't know. I don't like beer. Not at all. It tastes yucky to me. Oh, good opportunity. I don't even think G2 will compete well with K-Corp or BDS. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying amongst the top four, G2 have a chance. Like, if they're playing well on their day, I think they could compete. I still think I would favor Carmine Corp. Maybe BDS, it would be a little bit closer. But yeah, overall, EU continues to look stronger than North America. We just need to get our stuff together. I'm tired of all these seasons where North America doesn't take things as seriously as these top EU teams, and because of that, we get stomped on the international stage.
Making sure that he shows his former team.
Like, I don't think you should be proud of a great regional showing if you get whooped internationally, you know?
There is no worldwide change from the blue wall.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how beer tastes like. Do you not? I didn't drink until it was I guess better way to word this. I never drank illegally. For the place that I was in, I never drank illegally. The first time I had an alcoholic beverage was a month before I turned 21, but I was in England at the time, so when I drank it in the place that I drank it, I was of legal age. And then when I came back after that vacation, I did not drink until I was 21.
And that is now one back for
But I'm a rule follower, so. I went to Boston LAN and NA looked pretty lost, not gonna lie. That's probably where they looked the worst. Hey, but just because the teams aren't North American doesn't mean we still can't support them. I'm excited to watch Mina play, and to a slightly lesser extent, but still up there, I like watching Sam. So we get the NA from Mina, and we get the American from Sam, and we still got teams. We've widened our field. Yeah, me too. Okay. So this is you saying it without saying it. Got it. Oh no! Oh no! Hey, that was close. Alright, let's see. Drop down mid. Rise doesn't commit for that. Wait, that's off though. And Rise is back. I don't know who I want to root for this season. I continue to not really root for specific teams. I root for good play. Whether you win or lose, good play is awesome to see. Like, I root for Karming Core most of the time because I can trust them to consistently perform. Where other teams don't show up some days, Karming Core usually does. So that's why I like them. Same thing for G2 right now. Like I really want to be a fan of Gen G. I really loved Gen G last season. I thought they were great. I like their style of play. Also, OG is kind of like that. I really like watching OG play specifically. Like their play style, how they work with each other. Ooh, my goodness, that was spicy. Yo, going for that last pass while Vatira is just making a mess of the goal line is perfect. Chat, Paper demos me every time we scrim because it's a part of the game. You gotta demo if you can demo. Until they disable it, I will continue to use it. Yeah, I have had some and sold some, but that was back down to Mexico. What's the drinking age for Mexico? I'm going out to eat, so I have to go, but I'm going to watch from my phone. Okay, sounds good, Philly. Hope you have a good dinner, or is it lunch? It'd probably be lunch for you. I'm getting hungry. I want to eat lunch. But we gotta prioritize the grand final first. Gotta watch how EU is stacking up against each other. My grandma has a corner start. Oh, nice. In Europe, you can drink alcohol at home, even if you are below 18. It should be a smaller amount, though. Yeah, there are rules in specific states in the United States where you can drink at home, but yeah, it's different ages for different states. With parental supervision, you can drink at home here depending on where you live. Like I want to say Montana, the state that I'm in, is maybe 16 if you're at home. But like, I don't know, I understand it's a part of a culture other places. I just never had the desire to drink when I wasn't of age. And I still don't really have the desire to drink because I don't find most of those beverages tasty. Like, why would I drink something specifically to poison myself? Because that's what it is. That's why you lower your inhibitions. If you drink too much of it, you can get, alcohol poisoning because it is a poison. Like, if I'm not enjoying the drink, why would I do that? So I mostly do it for a social reason these days. And I found like a handful of drinks among many. I've been trying a whole bunch of them for like years now, where the opportunity presents itself, and I just don't find most of them tasty. So why would I have that? Why would I force myself to drink something that makes me grimace just to get drunk? I think I was 10 last I was in Mexico. 18 is the drinking age. Montana at home drinking age laws. Laws of parents.
Out of Carmine Corp's hands. Atto now, one reset, goes middle with it, and Drali then just to pump it long, only one boost to his name. Vatira then finds it back towards Drali.
Let me see.
All the way down into the blue half.
Yeah, you can't purchase alcohol under 21. Parents, can your parents let you drink at home? Yeah, in California, there's absolutely no exception, but we expect that. California is always like they have a stick up their butt in terms of any laws.
That comes with a Monkey Moon back pass as well. Didn't mean it at all. Tried to get a touch towards that blue half. Instead, it absolutely flings.
I'm trying to find it. We had to do when I did my first semester of college. Before I got there, you had to enroll and pass a drinking and drugs course. Like basically like a, hey, know the laws, because we know that, you teenagers are going to get in trouble anyways, but like, you can't say you weren't warned, sort of thing. They also, the course had a part on alcohol poisoning and what to do if somebody was, like, it is getting alcohol poisoning, like what you do, lay them on their side, make sure that they don't choke on their own vomit, like that sort of thing. But yeah, they had something about the laws, the Montana laws in there, and it included it. Drinking laws with parents.
Left wall. Takes it solo, takes it to the ground, wants to go for the pump, as does Atto, only gets Vatira. A reset from Rise, a fake from Rise, a shot.
It's legal and not legal.
But a save.
I want to find this.
Stay firm.
That was
way nervier than it had any right to be. It's seen that BDS has suppressed the danger, but Carmine Corp somehow turned it into something down the other
Okay, so those of any age below 21 may drink alcoholic beverages, but a parent or guardian must provide it, and it has to be at a private location. So like it's legal to drink at a party, but they cannot get drunk, and it can't be in a public setting. You have to be 21 if it's a public setting. But I can't remember. I thought there was an age connected to it, but maybe there's not in Montana. But like, for example, Montana does allow that, so as long as a parent or guardian provides the beverage and it's on a public, it's on private property, then anyone under the age of 21 may drink, but in California that is not the case. If a cop showed up to a private party, and even if a parent or guardian was there that provided the child the beverage, they would get in trouble for that. So like, it depends on the state in the United States. There are some rules around it though. I think I'm almost GC2 in Rumble, but I'm gonna go now back to the grind. Ooh, are you trying to get like specific tags? Like SSL tags? Wow, I missed a lot of gameplay trying to search for that. What's been happening? Have Carmine Corps looked less strong, or have BDS just had good counters? Oh, that's a good counter. Okay. I'm getting SSL, and yeah, I'm gonna hit GC and Hoops, Rumble, and Snow Day. Extra mode's Warrior. Can't say the same. I don't think I finished my placement matches for any of those.
These demolitions now starting to rain in for BDS. Now,
I don't know, I
Atto
haven't been
loses.
paying
Batira wants to
attention.
return
Oh good,
fire.
none of us are
Exotic
watching.
is on target
That's
with it,
nice.
but Atto across the net can keep that
We're having
one
some
out.
good
Still
saves.
owning that one goal lead. Monkey Moon being one off target. Drali shies away from that
Nice to
challenge
bring it
intelligently.
down. He could have
Now
just hard
midfield
cleared
does
that, but
fall
Drali
towards
was ready
Carly.
for
Cops
it.
Take full control over to the ceiling, gets bumped. Batira then recovers. A pass
Sick.
from Rise, and now it's Monkey Moon versus 2, but with no boost, he won't get too far till Drali and Exotic step in.
Oh,
But neither
that's
can
not in, is
actually
it?
accept
Okay,
who
it's not.
should take control of that ball. And a shot on target for Carmine Corp does roll a little bit too slowly.
Here we go.
Rise tees up Batira. It almost sprays
Oh.
out onto Drali.
Oh, they might get it.
Stay as tall as possible.
It's awkward.
Not quite force it in yet
Hey, you
again.
notice Exotic isn't double committing here?
Finally, beginning to knock on the door.
W
Can they make this
Exotic.
happen? They're sent back yet again. Exotic.
They save! Batira saves it again!
Undersave.
That would have been a chance.
Oh my
for that.
gosh.
2-0 for BDS. Now Atto finds
Wait, yeah,
Batira,
pop
who's
off.
in midfield forward.
Rise!
It's Rise, but with a miss.
Rise,
It then falls down
no!
towards Drali. The 3 players from BDS moving forward.
Do you understand now why I've said that Rise looks like the less consistent player on the ball?
Batira's still on the 100 boost. Rise, he has
Oh, the
shooting
50,
chance.
the
Atto's
50.
still there. Where is Batira?
That's
Where's
peak.
flying in?
They got all of them
Easy,
jumping,
but the opportunity
but to
just
no
not
avail.
coming. BDS send it away yet again. Rise tees up one more chance.
Oh,
Exotic
one more chance?
says no, at least for now.
They got it. Come on. They bumped. Batira keeps it up. Oh no, he went for the double. Yes, I see now. It's equal. Hey, even though Gentlemates also took two games last grand final, I think BDS looked stronger against Carmine Corp than Gentlemates did in that last series.
Maybe Carmine Corp score there, but BDS stayed firm on their goal.
Are they gonna use their
showed off why
timeout?
They are the #1 defense in this event so far.
Yeah, and you have to be.
It probably will, right?
Clean sheet against
I don't know how
Carmine Corp,
pros get that
especially
flip
when they
into
have
air
8
dribble.
shots, make something incredibly special. They caught
There's a lot
score
that they do
after
that I'm
55
like,
seconds
yeah,
something,
I don't think
and they just held
I,
out Carmine Corp for the rest of
what a
it.
save from Drali. I think we
timeout.
were on a
They've
different
now
perspective
lost
there,
2
but that was a
games.
really clean save from Drali.
Scary times when you look towards the end
Oh,
of this
Exotic
series.
should have sunk that.
Already secured that major, but BDS they are still vying for their spot.
Yeah.
I'm just looking back at these highlights now, and
Oh no, they're looking pretty
making
good.
that save
I think
just
BDS
to
are looking
keep things
good.
as
Like I said,
terrifying
game
as possible
7.
for Team BDS all the way to the end. Keep those heart rates
I
up,
can
the
hit those
adrenaline
shots, but the
pumping,
way
so
they
when
flip
Carmine Corp in,
is a lot more
do they
different
take
from
that
how I do it.
BDS
Doesn't
are
it
sort of
include
trapped
more?
in this limbo of
Yeah, they
sort
do
of ready to go,
timeout.
but having to wait. It must be
Don't their
horrible.
flips into the air dribbles include like some sort of flip cancel, and that's why it looks so different and like softer?
Are getting through to the boys, that he keeps them cool, calm, collected, and ready to make sure that game number 5 is going to be going their way. They have a game plan. I think out of any team in Europe, you look at game plans and you look at who formulates
I like how we
them
can
as
see
there has
like
been the
each
man
half of
behind
Farah, but we
genius
don't
of
actually
so
get to
many
see his
teams
face as he
historically.
talks to Carmine Corp.
Vitality, before Carmine Corp, of course, and then on Carmine
Like he's
Corp,
so
making
close
sure
in
that
there.
when you look at when you look at your coach
Isn't it
who
just
makes
flip
good
cancel?
decisions,
That's
you
what
can
I'm saying.
see
I think
the
it's
vision that
a
he has
flip
in his
cancel.
mind. He can get that through to the 3
Like
players
when they
on KC.
take the
Farah
ball
has
off of the
30
wall
seconds with his team
and then they
to
flip
try and
into it, I don't think it's a
springboard them to
regular flip because
his
you would see
personal as a
more
coach
directional
7
movement out of it
RLCS
versus if it was a
event
flip
in
cancel,
row,
right?
including majors, including world championships. Now we're
Although
here
I don't
back
pretend to
online,
be,
but it
you
doesn't
know,
feel
all
any
knowing
lower
in terms
pressure.
of this, so
You know,
maybe
you
I'm
still have all
wrong.
these eyes watching you. You are still locked in to competitive 3v3 matchup. Who do you favour here, Stumpy?
This is completely split down the middle. And what a brilliant performance from both teams to make it split down the middle too. They went through both of their semi-finals 4-1. They took a bullet in the arm, but then they
Can get
continued to
this.
fight through.
Oh,
And
they
it's
did the
definitely
double?
gonna Be interesting.
That
Whoever
wasn't
takes
too
game
bad.
Number 5 puts them on that series championship tournament point, whatever you want to call it. An early chance is
There's
falling
just
already
there's
to
something
BDS.
different about whenever they control it on the goal line versus like in my games you shoot it away. Oh, has he got that double? Nice! Oh my gosh!
And Monkey Moon is gonna be at the helm.
Holy cow!
Exotic sends it over one defender.
What a
Monkey
double!
Moon
Okay, that looks a little bit simpler from his position, but man, to put it behind Vatira there,
And
sick.
yet his lightning fast reactions
All I know is that I'm
still
cheeks
couldn't
compared to
contain the speed that
them.
Monkey Moon shot with.
Hey, join the rest of us. My mind is still blown that Zen getting the world record in 2v2 MMR is double my current 2v2 MMR, and I'm almost a GC. Like the difference between oh no, it's just not quite working out, their passing plays these last two games. The precision is just a little bit under. Oh, he goes. Nice. Did anybody see that Moxie is also trying to chase that down? Apparently he almost never plays twos, or like he played twos really casually. He's mainly a 1v1 player. And in the last, what was it, 2 or 3 days since Zen posted that world record thing, he was like, okay, I'm getting to 2300 in MMR, in 2v2 MMR, and then he did it. He went and did it. He usually sat at 2k, and he was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna focus 2v2, and then he focused 2v2, and now he's like leagues higher. It's all about understanding where the threat is. If you can control the ball on the goal line, yeah. If you can, do sort of thing.
World champion gets in there to put that one below the crossbar.
BDS going for not a romp.
Yeah, do not forget that Monkey Moon did win Worlds.
You got the late equalizer, you got the late winners, whatever.
Everybody else hasn't, but Monkey Moon is a world champion, which sometimes I even forget about because it's been a season or two.
Atto getting a lovely block from that side wall, quite awkwardly positioned for him. Vatira failing to get along.
Crazy how players like him can just do that and gain 300 MMR. Yeah, I mean, but wouldn't that kind of be like me, where I don't usually play 3v3, but if I decided to queue that mode for like a week, I would probably get up to a high C3, maybe GC1 rank, versus the C1, C2 that I'm at now. I feel like anybody can do that. There's always a mode, because there are so many modes in Rocket League in general, there's always a mode that you are probably ranked lower in than you necessarily deserve just because you don't play it.
The ball has been completely isolated. Finally, it
gets
past. Vatira's on target.
Close.
Monkey Moon stretches for the save.
Oh, a lovely touch there as well to get that ball onto the side, bouncing off the ramp into the center.
But I mean, when he took his screenshot and you look at it, he doesn't even play threes. Moxie is completely unranked in 3v3. He's unranked in all the extra modes and 3v3. Oh, good save. We're talking about twos. Twos is a lot harder. Not necessarily.
It's completely open and exotic. Leaves nobody behind. No
I think 3v3 could be just as hard, but people don't play it as much. Like the higher rank you get, people play it less.
As soon as Vatira came out, Rise thought that he can, I'll get some bumps, I'll make this tricky for them. Exotic predicted it. He essentially pre-jumped.
Man, BDS have really turned this around.
BDS completely turned this one around. A great pinch from Exotic.
Wait, did I just predict? Did I just predict Cole's call? I swear I just said they turned it around, and then Cole was like, and they've really turned this one around. I can see the future, chat. I've got a third eye, you just can't see it.
Absolutely was. It's another chance for Drali to come through, bumps Atto out of the way, makes it all
nice
good.
touch.
KC are being hounded in their own half.
The amount of boost deals as well that BDS players are having as they're coming out.
Oh, he gets those? What a stop! Oh my gosh!
4-0.
Yo! What a stop from Atto. He really tried.
To get it, by the way, but Exotic there again to poach.
Threes is harder. You have less boost, less time, and you have to rely on your teammates more. I think they each have their own challenges. They each have their own challenges, and if you're playing them at a good enough level, they're equally as hard. Just like 1v1, I don't think 1v1 is inherently a more difficult mode than 2v2 or 3v3. If you're playing them all at the same level, anything is challenging.
I'm still not going to count them out.
That's like saying football is easier than golf. Like, maybe in some ways, but in other ways, football is harder than golf. You know, they're two different sports. They can be compared as sports, but other than that, like, there is a top level of golf and there is a top level of football, and it's unfair to say that one is inherently harder than the other.
I mean, the game's over, but Carmine Corp would love a goal for the road here.
Oh, nice. Good job.
And I'm not getting louder and excited because I think all the comebacks
I think it really depends on your random. It's easier to climb if you have consistent partners. It's easy. It's easier in a way and it's harder in a way. You can argue both sides. I'm just going to continue to sit on the fence and maybe make you guys mad. But there are, I guess, okay, it's easier if you're partied up because you know what to expect from each of your players from game to game. But it's worse for your game long term because you get into certain habits and you don't have a fully like well-rounded practice of your game, because there is a benefit of playing with randoms every single game, whether it's 2v2 or 3v3, and it's that you really work on that adaptability, that you can be an offensive star one match, but then if your teammate is a ball chaser, then you can switch into a defensive mode and do just as well. But yeah, if you are partied up and you know what to expect starting in the game, you have an advantage. So I'll concede on that one. I won't quite sit on the fence. Rocket League is Rocket League, though. Precisely. Rocket League is Rocket League. And this is what we watch.
In the next game. You know, just slow down.
See, that's the thing. I don't have teammates. Like, you don't have people to queue with.
No, I'm not saying slower. Play quick, play brilliant, go for mechanical plays and that. But just it's become a bit predictable for Team BDS.
Yeah, I think then when you see Carmine Corp and you know that, okay, I'm going to pop it now, and then immediately you're luring somebody in. Sometimes they're getting two defenders to come out, and then that means, cool, well, I can pop this.
Well, I mean, you could start trying to find teammates to queue with.
There's nobody behind, or maybe there's one.
Like, I know you said your school teammates are like a significant lower level, but I don't know. I didn't start Rocket League with any friends that also played Rocket League. Like, I had one friend, but then he moved on to a different game, and I continued with Rocket League. So how do you make friends? You talk to people in matches when you have, like, how did I meet Erica and Kaze? Nope, that's not even fair because it was part of a league. So I guess you could still do that. You could join a different league. You could compete with a different team other than just your high school team. I don't know how the exclusivity works there, but a lot of players compete on multiple teams. Say like they have a school roster, but then they have an RLCS roster. But the other thing that I do to meet any of my other friends outside of the women's league has been, I'm playing a 2v2 game and maybe they message first and say like, oh wow, like I did terrible on that ball, like I missed a goal, and it's like, oh no, that's all right. And then like we just continue typing back to each other, and maybe we run across each other in multiple games, or we queue up because it's like, oh, we won a game and we did really well, so let's play multiple games in a row together. Let's, you know, party up. And then after an entire night of partying up, and then we just continue to type chat back and forth, then eventually it's like, hey, you wanna voice chat instead? Like do comms and voice? Be easier. What a save! Like, you've got to be a little bit outgoing if you want to make friends. You can't just expect to play games and have somebody say, yeah, do you want to queue with me forever and ever? You got to give a little bit. For learning, yes, randoms are good. 1v1 is hard because you have no one to blame but yourself. Don't I know it, old gamer? Don't I know it? I think my mental's getting better for 1v1, but I have learned that I need to have like certain things that I can rely on. For example, like I won't be able to practice 1v1 on East Ping. It's too hard. The variancy in ping is probably the biggest problem. If I was consistently getting 120 ping, it'd even be easier than like games where I get 100 and then games where I get 120.
If he had it, could have been trouble. I think he must have been right on the edge of his flip timer too.
When it breaks into that high a ping, 100 ping feels leagues different from 125. And anybody who doesn't agree with me should play on that ping and then tell me what you think about that. I think there's a big difference between 100 and 125. Ooh, this is not comfortable at all. How many circles has Rise made in front of the net? Gamer, but that's the reason ones is easier. You have no one to blame, so you work on yourself. It's such high pressure, though.
It's the carrier missile. Charlie's the player it falls to, but Vatira air dribbles away.
It's exhausting. It's more exhausting to play a 1 hour session of 1v1 than it is to do a 1 hour session of 2v2.
On target with zero boost, very little power can be generated, so Monkey Moon sends it to the corner again. Low boost for Carmine Corp.
Nice.
They're being starved.
I kind of just realized that Carmine Corp are on will be eliminated if they don't win this. For some reason, I thought we were still tied 2-2. I didn't actually look at the overlay. Oh! No, Red should have got that. But it really isn't. It's just how the community has made it to be. No. No. I kind of disagree. I think it's a personal preference. I think some people don't find it as stressful, but overall I think it is more stressful to play. Yo, sheesh! Did we really just see that on a Carmine Corp? Whoops. I don't know, Raptor. It's totally different in Europe than North America. If you're not comfortable speaking English, it's really hard to just hop into voice chat. So many different languages here. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think if you're not in North America, it is more fair to make it harder to find people to queue with. But then don't you just like party up and queue with people that you're winning with? Like there's different reasons that I queue up with people, and it's either because we're vibing with chat, like type chat, or we're winning, like we're vibing on the pitch in our plays. What a snipe! That had some pace on it. I wake again, maybe. Welcome back, Erica. Yeah, I was really surprised when he came in that early, but then, you know, get him! Why'd he place it there? Dude! No! Oh man! See, but like even Rise could have shot it in a different part of the net, and they were so awkward that they wouldn't have been able to save it, man! Man! Come on, Carmine. Oh. He got him! Get in the net! Dude! Yo! That angle, it was so hard to see if it was gonna drop in. Oh my gosh.
Removes the player. 7 seconds, and we've seen, as I say, every time on these late winners, magic happen from these spots.
Okay. Don't do any risky kickoffs. Hold it down. Hold it down, K-Core. Come on. My team. Clutch it out. Game 7. Come on. All right. What was that? Get in the net? I don't know. It was a different pitch. Oh, they're standing up to reset. Vatira is standing up so that he can reset.
Guys, we're good. We can continue pushing through this.
My blood pressure can't take it for real.
Second open qualifier champions.
they're like season 6 Cloud9.
That was a lot.
You know, these robotic sort of influences that they have to just completely stay cool, calm, and collected at all times. But I'll tell you what, Stumpy, at the end of that one, I wasn't cool, calm, and collected. That was a real chance for Team BDS.
Yeah, they should have equalized there. That was tough for Drally, but they probably should have equalized on that one. Drally didn't need to do, what was he trying to do a double tap? I think he was trying to do a double tap, but he could have just done a soft, like, high pass out into the middle. I doubt BDS can handle Game 7. Hey, I'm gonna reserve my judgment. I think it's entirely possible. BDS don't look shaken, I don't think. Okay, just kidding. Just kidding. Given that little face cam replay of Monkey Moon, they might be emotionally distraught.
Regional 2 trophy. BDS trying to get this win to near enough guarantee themselves.
Oh, BDS. Yeah, Monkey Moon totally thinks that they should have had that, which they should have. But come on. The fake? Okay, that's going to be a little bit frustrating for BDS.
He ties.
What a demo. Exotic turning into snipe there? Appreciate. Yeah, Monkey's already up. They have these passing lanes covered really early for against Carmine Core. Uh-oh. Haha! Woo! I didn't know Drowley was up there. That was terrifying.
Drowley taking early swipes at any defender he can get his hands on. Vatira trying to go for Exotic, who completely puts the brakes.
See, Rise is up right away to relieve the pressure from Atto in the back corner, which is necessary. Good demo. Follow up pulled away. Tau. Nice. Hey, no matter who wins this has been good quality. This has been good quality regardless of it going to a Game 7. Nice. He just missed the boost grab. Oh no, and the back corner isn't there. That's going to mean Rise is really awkward at defense. Okay, they move out, so it ends up not mattering. That's good.
Challenge is going to spoon into the ceiling. Exotic gets the flip reset. Can he get it over Atto? No, he didn't actually get the reset. Atto used all of his boost. Rise then gets the challenge. Drowley from the side has to generate some angle. Will allow for a counter-attack for Team BDS. It's a little bit safety first right now from these guys.
Okay, just keeping possession, I suppose. Wait, why did Drowley not touch that? Hold on. Why did he back out of that? When does C9 play? Probably never again in Rocket League. Cloud9 will never come back. A few people have said that they don't want Cloud9 to come back. I don't know why. Oh, they kept it high again? The bump. They're awkward. Monkey Moon. He's clutch. Nobody can get past the moon.
And those are the ones that are counted. There's been 3 or 4 more that have been set up before these shots and blocked out before they even.
Go on, Rise. Get that confidence out.
Sends it central, and a little bit of calm starting to form here in the middle of game number 7.
Yeah, nice. I feel like Carmine Core will be a lot happier about that than Team BDS.
Yeah, they're Carmine Core are looking a lot more settled in this game. Like it seemed like they were hanging on by a thread last game against BDS, but this one they're looking a little bit more composed. Oh, please don't score right away and take the words out of my mouth. I would hate for that to happen yet again. I feel like that always happens. Okay, good. It's like every other broadcast where I've tried to compliment a team, they immediately concede. So please, please just don't make me look the fool. And of course, my team, Carmine Core, they back me. Is this the final? Yes, it is. Grand final. Yep, it was a 4-1 for Carmine Core over Magnifico, and then 4-1. Was it a 4-1 for Oxygen and BDS too? Or did BDS 4-0? No, they 4-1, right?
15 seconds elapsed since that goal, and it's been that BDS pressure coming through.
I mean, Carmine Core have already qualified for Copenhagen. They can't get booted out. They're in the top 4, no matter what happens in the next event. I want BDS to win and it'll really boost up them going into the 3rd regional. I think regardless, they get a good lead because specifically Gentlemates and Vitality didn't make it past top 8 this time. If they were in a position where they made it into top 4, it would be a lot more in question, but I think BDS have a comfortable lead whether they place 1st or 2nd. Nice. He goes. Drowley gets the block. Good save. Yeah, it's a one-goal game. Anything could happen.
From the new man for Team BDS. More defending to come though. Monkey Moon over the top. Ato's coming in.
It's going low. Monkey, of course, saves that. Exotic's bumped! Uh-oh!
Where's the defense gone left and right in search of boost? Vatira's
Dude, they are barely surviving right now. It's actually nuts.
Abating pressure, and Carmine Corp still can't
What a
get it
defensive
through their
stand.
second
Just
goal.
put it online.
Target
Yeah,
for
make
Atto.
Monkey save it.
Another save for Monkey Moon, but BDS need to work their magic.
Oh my
and
gosh.
get it out of their own half.
Oh, good pullback.
Here he comes, the mechanical man, the 1v1 master. He's the player Team BDS need here. Monkey Moon is trying to approach.
I'm so invested right now.
20 seconds separate. Carmine
Oh.
Corp and perfection so far from Europe. That mistake might make things easier for them, but
Come
still
on.
they survive. Charlie's there. He has a clean chance for a dribble. 10 seconds.
10 left yet.
CP. Exotic goes long. Can this bump come in?
They're
Oh,
trying.
So close.
They're
Monkey Moon
pushing.
now. Exotic there. He bounces.
Did I seriously get it? No way. No way. Oh, what a lead from Monkey. He didn't quite have the angle to get it off the back ball fast enough. Oh my gosh.
2 seconds remain. Surely we see an overtime between these two sides.
Raptor.
Ever so important. The right-hand side sees
0 second goal.
with boost, with a reset.
Yeah.
Atto brings
Yeah, that gets bumped down for sure, for sure.
overtime for the tournament.
You gotta love it. Game 7 overtime in the grand finals. Vatira lines up a flip reset. Exotic should be able to
Oh,
put this
okay.
one away, but KC start off the OT better.
10 seconds in, but look, it's already that
He's
KC
going high.
pressure. Atto up
He's
high,
forcing.
one touch in, that goes awkward for Monkey Moon. Doesn't need to make the touch. It ends up
50?
progressing down the pitch completely backwards.
He bumped. Clear for Rise.
Challenging versus Exotic. Left-hand side, Atto awkwardly rotating
Come on.
around, gets one, gets two, but ends up falling back into the corner.
He's still working. Of course, it's Monkey in the back, so you can trust Monkey.
He tees up Exotic, Drali just waiting.
What
He
it?
comes around,
Okay.
goes for it.
Oh
Atto
my
gets the
gosh.
block.
I'm so
To approach this
nervous.
first minute gone in the overtime. It's now BDS with pressure. Now Monkey Moon with a catch or with a dribble round. See the player central. Unfortunately for him, it's Atto. Exotic dribbling.
Exotic's looking a little shaky in some of his
we're seeing
touches.
A little bit of calm start to approach right before this storm hits full force.
As said before, though, Carmine Corp will be more than pleased with that. That's
Not a good
how
50 for
much overtime
K-Core.
to go. Calm and collected. Bit of chaos from BDS brewing.
Rise, why didn't he go up with that?
He goes for the shot, but
He
Rise
had
gets the
boost.
save.
Rise now finding Atto. Central finds Rise. Only a 50 in the midfield with Drali. Monkey Moon with a lot of boost here, a lot of ambition to get yet another win underneath his belt. Drali
The tiles by
challenges versus a
himself.
single
What a
defender,
stop.
but that single defender is Atto, and he's not letting it squeeze.
He's gonna
through.
go all the way
Drali's
upfield.
trying to get some bumps and demos on his way out, but instead he just has to settle for the boost. Target hit Vatira.
Okay.
Somehow stays tall.
Got slapped about in his own net and still stayed in the perfect position to save it away. Atto with a reset tries to go low, but blocked out again by Monkey Moon. We approach 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh, guys.
Vatira
Oh my gosh.
approaches
Oh
the
my
net.
gosh. Not again.
Whoa, but Exotic with sheer determination can keep it out.
Nerves of titanium there to bait the bump, stay grounded, somehow get the save.
No, the
BDS
bump didn't
remain alive,
connect.
but for how long? Vatira has Rise to his right. It's the age-old duo, and he almost squeaks it in.
I can't take this. No way. That's what does it. That's what does it, chat. You're kidding. Oh my gosh, and Drali's already out. He's so upset he missed that challenge. Man, that was great though. Like, can we just agree that was good. That was a great series. That was like how I felt watching the last championship Sunday.
When you suspect.
Hey Paper, no, I missed the series. Unfortunate, voided. You can watch it back though. It was game 7. Yep. It was a good series. Wow, awful. I mean, they were being pushed right to the brink. I mean, how many times did Carmine Corp have good pressure on the net and it was just Monkey back? Like Exotic and Drali nowhere to be seen, and it was Monkey solo in the net reading the shot and getting the save. Like like I would say that they lasted pretty long considering that. How was a champ ceiling shot? What ends the series? I don't know. You look at the pressure leading up to it, and Monkey in the middle, yeah.
Is just in your hearts too. and BDS put on an incredible fight.
They're gonna take
against
that a little
Abu
bit
Hussein
hard
the
because
entire time,
they had the
Titans
lead
of
in the
Europe.
series and they could have closed it out, but yeah. BDS should have won in that game. I don't think BDS should have won in that game. They should have won early on in the series. Karmine Corps looked a little bit kerfluffled earlier in the series, but they regained their composure. The game before this, game 6, BDS had an argument to possibly win that. Game 7, that was, I mean, that was all Karmine Corps. USA, USA. Let's go. Farah wins again. Our classic American. Farah is now on a 7-event winning streak as a coach. That's he has dropped 3 series since the spring split of RLCS last season, and that is his 7th tournament win. Wow, Vatira is hyped at that. Whoa, you gotta love the passion. Oh my gosh.
As a Rocket League fan, CJ, this was just
wait, I didn't even notice BDS changed their roster this much? Really? Wait, so you've been cheering for BDS this entire season so far, and you didn't know that it was Exotic and Rally?
I mean, that was absolutely
To be
nuts.
fair, I forgot Exotic.
BDS had that one. They could have
At
taken
the
a
start of this
4-2,
weekend,
then
I
K-Corp
remembered Drally.
equalised.
I was like, it's
Drally
Monkey
misses
Moon, Drally, and
the touch.
who's the
Game
third?
6 as
Who's
well,
the
goes to
third?
game 7, and they get the equalizer. They force the overtime, Johnny.
Farah is an
K-Corp,
honorary
they just have a
American.
bit of plot armor about them at the moment.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. The Rise game 5 and 7 ice, it never left. He still is able to somehow end up
Fun
on the
fact,
right side,
Farah left Vitality
history
because he
every time
thought this
goes the
season's
distance.
KC was better, and they
I'm
are
so
proving it.
impressed by BDS
Well,
as well,
yeah, there were
fighting
multiple
back this side.
factors.
It
If you
wasn't
want to
the
know
easy
his
start that they
entire
had last
reasoning
night, but
behind
KC, they
leaving
were the team
Vitality, he
from
spoke a
start.
little
They
bit
were the
on
team
it
fighting back in the middle,
in
and that's maybe the missing part. You weren't sure about, do they
Thursday's,
have that
yeah, it was on
root in
Thursday.
them?
Thursday's
Yes, they do.
Chalkcast. So
And
if you look
wow,
at the
KC
most recent
BDS starting to
Chalkcast
keep
episode,
quite the
they had
match up.
Farah
I
on,
hope we get to see more of
and
that
they did
in
discuss
regional
that a
group.
tiny bit.
Oh, I agree with that, CJ.
He
There
talked
were a lot of
about
stories into this. I mean,
the
first
org
off,
environment
K-Corp
was
locking
also a
in their
little bit
major
different.
spot.
He
You know, we've seen
preferred
a
how
few teams from
KC
other
was a
regions
little
have done
bit
that.
more
K-Corp has done that
relaxed.
for Europe.
In their org
BDS,
environment,
being able to
Vitality, I
really
think, is
make sure
very
they work in
traditional.
trolley. They're all looking
Like
phenomenal
Vitality
together,
probably
competing
never would have
with the
let
two-time
Farah go on
qualifier,
to the Chalkcast
champs
as a
now.
guest,
And
but
then,
KC
I forgot the
allowed
third
him
one,
to
but
because
yeah,
they have
Ari's
certain
oh, yeah,
rules
Farah
around
getting
PR
7 in
and
a row now. Like, there's so
like
many cool
what they can
storylines.
talk about, what they can't.
I mean, this is Europe. It's nuts.
And so I think it was a combination of, yeah, he thought the team was better. He also wanted to raise his value as a coach, because if he had stayed with Vitality and Vitality continued to win, people would attribute that more to the players than they would to Farah. And so by switching teams and having both the teams be pretty dominant in the region, you start to look more at Farah as a coach as the reason for that, rather than just the players. Like the players themselves still, yeah, you give them credit. But yeah, time to get back to the grind. Happy streaming. Thank you, old gamer.
Very convinced of these two teams. And I would not be surprised if they are the top two going forward. Vitality got a lot of problems to fix. Gentleman's confidence was missing, and you know, confidence
Johnny
is everything
spitting
in Rock League at the highest level. When you got two teams like KC and BDS playing like this, you have to be confident. Right.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm curious
BDS
then,
looked great.
It's not a top 4, it's a top 2.
There were
I mean,
moments in
it
that
was a
series where they
domination. I think,
probably
Johnny,
should
you
have
were
won.
saying it's a top 1. Where do you stand in the European region?
I don't know.
Last season, it was, you know, it was a top 4 in the EU.
I
big
will
4,
say,
but on top of that, there was the big one.
I was leaning
Vitality,
Karmine Corps,
right now,
and
it
I
seems like
said
I do still think they
it's
are the top
probably
4
a game
teams.
7
The
based
big,
on
the
like
big
how they were
benchmarks,
playing
still the top 4
today.
teams for me.
But I didn't
BDS
expect it to
coming
be a
from
game
separated
7
itself away from
with
Vitality and
BDS
Vectors,
being up.
After this event. They've shown
I thought that BDS
consistency.
were gonna
They've actually improved in
we're
some
going to be
areas,
trailing,
whereas Vitality
and they
definitely
survived
faltered.
long enough to bring it to game 7. So props to them for that difference, because there is a difference there. You gotta give them credit, but it just seems like they have a problem going against this KC roster. They can't finish out the series. They got reverse swept in the previous event by Karmine Corps, and now they were up 3-2 and couldn't get the W in 2 games. So yeah, Drelly just played that too fast. He expected Atto to go full speed there, and when he didn't, he moved in such a way that he couldn't recover on that. So yeah,
I think that's the beautiful thing about that.
That's gonna do it for the main broadcast. We're gonna tune out here and go over our own wrap up. But yeah, looking at this, how does this change the points? It should adjust the rankings now. I think they should have them entered. But yeah, great series. I'm so happy with how today turned out compared to yesterday, because even though we had 4-1s in the semifinals, they were quality 4-1s, and that's all I want. Like, I don't care if there are such dominant teams that they get the 4-0 for the series score, but like Oxygen didn't look impressive over Redemption. It was a close games. It was sloppy. Sun Magnifico, even though it went to game 7, same thing, like super messy. One of the messiest series I've seen recently out of EU. Oh, they got a Vatira interview. Hold on.
Already won every single event that you can possibly
Bang.
find. Vatira, how
Good thing
are
I
you
kept
doing,
it
my
up.
friend?
I'm doing well, and I didn't win Worlds, so I didn't win every event yet, but maybe this year.
Maybe
We'll
this
get
year
it
he
sorted
will
out this
be
time around. Really know that you're driving.
world
I'm gonna start
champion.
this off a little bit lighthearted. We already know that you guys like to send out the tweets after every single event, and we also know the fan base you guys have. What's the winning tweet already at for you? Well, check your phone real quick. Where are we at for the likes already from the K-Corp fans?
Oh yeah, if you want to check, there is a lot of notifications.
Holy cow.
Everyone, so yeah.
Comments out the
fans going
wazoo.
crazy. Like it was an insane series too, so yeah. It was.
I want to focus in on that game 7 because we already know you guys fight for those game 7s, you do so well. What were you guys
You got fans
That was
like
a great
can't not
interview.
love
Sometimes
them. I
Vatira
think
has
if
been a
Johnny,
little
you
bit
have to
like
stand by them when
too
they're standing by
cocky,
you like
but that
I
was
think
just like
what I
humble
loved
confidence
out of
because he's
that,
definitely earned
Johnny,
it. I
was
mean, I
that
think he had
initially,
something to
when
prove
Shogun
before,
asked the
so
question
whenever
of,
he
"Would
would
you
win,
expect
he would
this?"
get like
His answer is
overexcited
yes.
about that. And he's
just
like, yeah,
immediately
see, you know, I'm
confidence, but he's
good.
like, "Well,
But like
realistically,
now he's
maybe
so
not, but, you know,
he's
so
so
in it that you have to
secure
stay
in
locked
that he knows that he's one of the best players in EU, that he can say it in a, I don't know, in a like a humbly confident manner. I don't know another way to mention that. But yeah, it looks like they're showing the rankings here. They're talking about them. We could listen to them, but we're gonna do our own. We're gonna be individualistic, chat. Farah really making the case for becoming one of the legendary coaches in the game, for real. I think he's already pretty much secured that. What if the Moist roster stayed or came back together? That'd be a dangerous team. It could be. It could be, but I think where Vatira and Rise have really grown, I think Joyo has grown less. He's still a wonderful player, and if he can get the right environment around him, I think Joyo would be really good. But I think maybe Joyo isn't confident enough in the same way that Rise and Vatira are. Like they do have the ice. I don't know, I'd be interested to see that roster compete, but I think there was a reason that it was as successful as it was, that it didn't reach like the tippy top, and that they still couldn't close it out. Like against Furia, like they, in that World Championship series, they looked good, they were missing something. And I think there's a reason that individually Rise and Vatira have gone on in their subsequent teams to continue to compete above that. Maybe Joyo doesn't even need, maybe he doesn't even need a different team. Maybe he just needs to move away from Moist, because sometimes there is that mental block where if you stay on the same team, or you stay in the same environment, maybe you are a better player than you were. You just don't see that change because there's the placebo effect. But yeah, I think the ideology of the game was what split them up. How do you mean, Erica? You want to explain that? Because I don't quite know what you mean. But yeah, looking at these rankings, let's refresh it again. Yep, and they have them confirmed. So that is Carmine Core guaranteed to go to Copenhagen at the end of March. W them, big claps. They performed well. I think they deserve it. They've gone through... They have gone through all of the top teams in the region to get this now, haven't they? Because they went through BDS, Gentlemates, they played they played Vitality in the Swiss. So yeah, I think Carmine Core well-deserved ticket to Copenhagen. There isn't a single team that they've missed that I think would put into question whether they're the top team in the region. A KC versus KC? Yeah, we need some Civil War action. They play the game differently, that didn't complement each other well. Yeah, and like I said, I think Joyo, he's still a really good player, but he needs something. He needs something different, because he's had multiple rosters now where he just can't seem to make it through. Like not even contending with the top 6 teams. I'd say they're probably, if they had made this event and didn't have a bad day where they ran into Resolve and would have been, what was it after that? It was Resolve and a different team that I can't remember. Was it Oxygen? No, it wasn't Oxygen. Anyways, they ran into 2 main event teams. Like if they didn't have a bad day there and they made it to the main event, I would still say that they're top 10, top 8. Who is he teaming with? Oh, I can't even remember. Let's see. Let's see. Rezi and Oli. So I think this team is pretty comparable to Juicy and who was it? Juicy and Cash? Was it Juicy and Cash? Yeah. Or Juicy and Astral. Who was it in the spring of last season? I think this Rezi and Oli, Oli kind of reminds me of Juicy in a way, and Rezi, I mean, I haven't seen as much of him that I can recall, but I still think he looks solid. So I think it's a similar power level to the previous rosters that he's had as soon as Rise left. But yeah, I don't know. I think Joyo needs a change more than anything. He needs to change orgs. Because sometimes that is what team or what people need. It's totally something that doesn't make a difference, but there's obviously something that's keeping him from success, and I don't think it's his skill. But yeah, BDS following up with a pretty clear number 2 seed. Of course, Gentlemates can still challenge them, but compared to every other team below that, if BDS just continue to have a solid performance, which based off of what today looks like, they should be able to, I expect BDS to hold on to this number 2 seed going into the major through the 3rd event. And yeah, it's going to be a tight race between these bottom teams right here. If Vitality has another performance like they did, they could very well not make it to the major. Magnifico, we're going to be watching out for some consistency here in the same way that we're looking out to see if Vitality can get back to the same level. We're going to see if Magnifico can maintain the level that they were performing at. So a lot of potential movement. So we'll probably do the same thing. I wonder if maybe even next weekend we could possibly start earlier on the Championship Sunday and tune into some of the final day of double elim quals for EU, because it seemed to be pretty crazy last event. But that is going to finish it up for Europe. We await their performance 2 weeks from now, and moving into the rest of today, for anybody who hasn't heard it so far, I am going to be ending stream for now, but I will be back later this evening to cover the last day of the double elimination bracket for North America. So we're going to be looking at who are the top 16 teams that qualify, and who's going to be looking the strongest out of it. So it looks like we've got some decent amount of teams here. Let's just break it down for a second. So each of these brackets, as they are sitting right now, should have a top 16 team in them. How double elimination works, since I haven't covered it personally myself live, is that if the teams are seeded correctly, we should see one top 16 team here and one top 16 team here. And when they face off, I mean, the better of them qualifies in the upper bracket, and then they drop down into a slot. The loser of it drops out into one of these slots, where they go against a team that is, 17th through like 24th to compete and see if there's an upset here. So like in this example, G2 should reign supreme over the Snowmen, and the Snowmen should drop down and confirm that they are indeed the top 16 by facing a team that is, 17th through 24th. So the top seed should always go through here. So if we're following that strictly, it should be G2 Stride, qualify through the top, Space Station, Luminosity, M80, Dignitas, and then I'd say, yeah, Dignitas, OG is the favorite here, Gen G, and Pirates on a Boat. So the top seed is on the top part of the bracket. But it looks like we haven't had anything crazy so far. This will be a really interesting first round, because in the past 2 events, meaning the past North American event and the past EU event, we've already seen some of these top 16 teams drop down. The other upsets that have occurred, so like Shopify fell out in this match, I believe, for the last event. And for EU, it was Moist and Resolve that dropped out in these matches. So where they were favored to win, they got upset, and that is why they ran into each other in the lower bracket. No Sam today? I don't know when they're doing their double elimination bracket, but I don't know enough about all of the lower teams and Sam or Mina to follow those. Mina is already decided. You can see the top 16 because they run the day before everybody else. When is this? Might not make it to stream later, or make it to the later stream. It is in about 4.5 hours is when it will start. So I don't know how soon I will start. The games start at the hour, 4 hours and 29 minutes from now, but I don't know if I'll start like the regular 30 minutes before. I might start closer to the actual game time, just because I don't have a lot to go over in terms of this. But yeah, it looks like the teams that we recognize from the previous 2 events, G2, Snowmen, Space Station, I'm Dreaming made it really far in the double elim, but they didn't break top 16. Energy, Luminosity. Have we seen Detonate in the main event? I don't know if we've seen Detonate. Incorrect, G Buffo, M80, TSM, Dignitas, Omelet Plot Twist. These guys are kind of like, they rotated out. top 16 first event, top 16 second event in Omelette. OG deleted in both events. Akron top 16 in the second event. Gen G, Young Whippersnappers, if you'll remember, they made it to top 8 in event number 1. So these guys were on a roll. Same with Snowmen up here. Snowmen in G2's bracket also made it into top 8 in event 1 and then didn't make it into top 16 the next time. Muffin Men, here's a shout. Muffin Men are going to be in the top bracket for this first round, which is great because CJ is casting them and he is a perfect hype man. Pirates top 18 consistently, and Shopify managed to stay alive into the top bracket. Let's look into the lower bracket real quick and see if there's anybody I recognize. URL Turbo's Cheeks. Rizzo's team is still alive. If you guys want to watch Rizzo, he'll be playing today with Turbo and Turbo Posta and Alpha Cap. Looks like they made it to day 3. W them. They've earned some money. Leftovers, we also recognize them from last event. They were top 16, so they're coming through lowers. And Boulevard. I want to say Boulevard is familiar, but I think they've made it to the last round and contended top 16 teams. Rizbear? Yeah, so we might tune into Rizzo. We'll keep an eye on. I'll have a few of these streams open on my other monitor just to make sure nothing crazy is happening. But we could possibly watch Turbo's Cheeks for the first round, see how they fare. Because this is where they went out the first event, I think. They didn't make day 3 event number 2, but in event number 1, I think Rizzo's team made it to this round, and they either went down here or went down here. I can't remember. I could be wrong about that. Don't hold me to it. But yeah, for anybody who is interested, for anybody who might still be awake at this time, we will be following this. We'll see if there's any craziness that happens. If you can't tune in, it's not a big deal. I'll go over the same stuff. I'll go over the results before we start NA next weekend. But yeah, if you're up for some absolute open qual craziness, I will be here. But that is gonna do it for today's stream. Let me get this all situated because we've got a dot to add to the board now. Okay, I got the wheel up. Okay, so if you want to be added to the poster for today to possibly choose the color, drop the word hype in chat. And we'll be back today. So if you were attending the second stream for today, we'll be adding another dot onto the board for that. So 2 dots today. Much excites. Let me adjust my settings here really quick because I think otherwise you guys won't be able to see the dot. But for anybody who doesn't know, at the end of every single stream, we add a colored dot to this poster. So eventually we might create a pretty picture together. I color the dot, you choose the color. So if you possibly want to choose the color of the dot for today, you got to drop that word in the chat. We will add you to a wheel and a winner is randomly picked from it. Although it seems like maybe it's biased towards Raptor and Erica because they get them inordinate to the amount of times that they type in chat. Erica. Dane, I wish I could have used my emote. What emote? So just you 3? Yeah, Old Gamer pieced out earlier. Looks like maybe Voided is still lurking around, but maybe not. Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. Oh, a hype Twitch emote for your channel? Unfortunately, I'm not on Twitch. And unfortunately, I do not have any YouTube stuff connected to Twitch because I think you can connect that. That's something that Ludwig created. But yeah. Okay, I think it's just gonna be you 3, so let's go ahead and spin it. Ba-ba-bang! You gotta be kidding me. Raptor just cannot stop winning. Monin, I feel like you've gotten robbed so many times. When are you gonna get a W here? Let's go now. Alright, Raptor. What color do you want? You've gotten way too many of these. Should I just ban you? Every time, man. I know it's actually quite unfortunate. I really pull for you every single time. It just doesn't happen. All right, what are you thinking today, Raptor? What color? I've robbed Modern so many times, starting to feel bad. You should feel bad. Maybe just don't type next time. Nah, I would never ask you to do that. Winners keep winning. It's just unfortunate. It makes it feel like the wheel is rigged, but I swear I don't rig it. Light orange? Well, there's only one orange, so gotta go with that. It's I eat Raptor. Paper rigged it? I did not! Should add the Monopoly rule. If you get it 3 times in a row, you get a ban. Yo, imagine. Raptor would stop typing it. Okay. There's orange on both sides. Yeah, I don't know where to put it. I don't know where to put it. I guess I'll put it over here. Bang. Okay, and like I said, if you want a possibility to choose the dot, tune in later tonight because we do have a second stream today. But that is it for now. There is your dot, Raptor. Very beautiful. Number 15, I think. I think it's 15. If you count at the beginning, right, it should be 15 now. I wasn't paying attention all the way up until like 10. But since you've said 10, I'm pretty sure we're on 15. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna sign off for now. I'll probably schedule the stream shortly before I start it instead of my regular couple hours before. I don't know, I'm still deciding on that. But I will see you guys later. For anybody that wants to tune in for the double elimination qualifiers in NA, we are tuning in to day number 3 to see who makes top 16. But yeah, for anybody who doesn't possibly tune into that, the next stream will be Tuesday and we'll be returning with 100 Days of Ones for anybody who's interested in just gameplay and not RLCS. I won't make it, but sign me up for the spin. I choose green. I'll think about it, Modin. I've usually done the rule of you have to be currently present to get a dot, but I'll think about it. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's gonna do it for now. I'm signing off, and I will see you guys later today. Peace out, chat.
I wanna be here at the moment right now. I'm taking my fear and make it disappear. I'll make you work it and I'll show you how. I won't let them get me down. I wanna be stronger. Always remain true to myself. Let me explain. I'm so fast cause I'm hyperactive. Let go plus I think it makes me unattractive. But time goes fast, we should